big announcements that get made from William Regal. So very much looking forward to seeing what he has got to say. So yes, we are up and running for another Wednesday night. Over on AEW, it is worth mentioning, might as well just start and go through this. So we've got Britt Baker taking on Maki Ito. Hang on, no, same team. Britt Baker, Maki Ito, and Nyla Rose taking on Hikaru Shida, Ryo, Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa. We've got the Inner Circle War Council. We've got Scorpio Sky taking on Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. And then we've got promos from Sting, and we will be hearing from Christian Cage. As well as that, we've got Ethan Page taking on Lee Johnson. So looks like a pretty strong AEW. Of course, they're coming out of Revolution. And obviously the big talking point behind me. I'm really hoping that will get some kind of a reference tonight. I'm sure there will. I could imagine MJF making a cheeky little reference to it, or certainly someone at some point will make reference. Obviously, Tony Khan tried to explain it by saying, Kenny built a dud. Is anyone surprised that the ring didn't explode when Kenny was making his plans in crayon and he was trying to make out that it was Kenny's fault? Doesn't really explain why Eddie Kingston acted like he had died. But other than that, it's been the talk of wrestling, do you know what I mean? So I think it was right to have it in the background. I wanted to then try and find a funny NXT picture, because I didn't want AEW fans thinking that I was having a pop or anything. It's just a bit of fun. So I tried to find a funny picture of NXT, and so I've got a wacky one of William Regal. And as we said earlier, William Regal, of course, will be making 2 big announcements tonight. And we think it's going to be about NXT women getting tag titles. And we also think it's going to be about a 2-day NXT takeover. NXT takeover this year looks to be 2 days, a 2-day event. So that's quite interesting. In fact, there's quite a bit of news to go through. There's quite a bit of stuff that we need to talk about. Dave said, I've got my sparklers ready for tonight. Shout out to you, Dave. Hope you are well. Austin, shout out to you as well. Shoot to Kill says, who is hyped for Finn Balor versus Adam Cole? It's going to be good. I am looking forward to it. The only thing I would say is I'm not sure that we're going to see a new champion tonight. I get the feeling that Kyle O'Reilly will get involved, or Bobby Fish, or Roderick Strong, or I can't imagine Undisputed Era are just going to sit back and allow Adam Cole to become the new champion after all the carnage that has been caused. So for me, I'm expecting Undisputed Era to get involved, or I'm certainly expecting something that's going to prevent Adam Cole from winning that title. But it's still exciting all the same. Big, big card tonight over on NXT. So in regards to those 2 announcements, as we said, we've got the NXT Women's Tag Titles. They're expected to get announced. It was Dave Meltzer that reported that they're apparently on the way. We spoke about them, I think it was last week, in regards to the fact that I would be fine with them. I think they'd be a good addition. I think there's quite a stacked women's roster, and there's no mid-card title for them to compete for. And the thing with the tag titles is obviously that's going to eat up quite a bit of talent, because even just a tag match, you need 4 women. So it's just a quick, easy way of getting 4 women onto a show. So I don't mind NXT tag titles. So that could be interesting. The only thing I would say is that it is a shame that this now means that the WWE women's tag titles wouldn't be defended in NXT. The WWE women's tag titles would just go between Raw and SmackDown, because NXT would have its own version. So, I don't mind that. And then TakeOver being a 2-day event, that's very tasty news. That's very interesting news. It actually means that WrestleMania week is looking stacked for streams. I've jotted it all down. So on the Monday before WrestleMania, we've got Raw. On the Tuesday, it would be the Hall of Fame. On the Wednesday, it would be NXT TakeOver Night 1 and AEW. On the Thursday, it would be NXT TakeOver Night 2. On the Friday, it would be SmackDown. On the Saturday, it would be WrestleMania Night 1. On the Sunday, it would be WrestleMania Night 2. On the Monday, it would be Raw. On the Tuesday, that would be the first Tuesday night NXT, I think. And then we've got AEW on the Wednesday. I mean, it's literally a week and a half of non-stop streams. It's a week and a half where there's a wrestling event, WWE or AEW, every single night. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And that'll be early April. So it is looking absolutely stacked. So looks like they're going to try and do TakeOver on the Tuesday and Wednesday before WrestleMania. So 2 nights for TakeOver, 2 nights for WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, NXT looks like it's going to move to the Tuesday. I mean, I think that's so much better. That then means that we've got a whole stream dedicated to NXT and a whole stream dedicated to AEW. So that just fits a lot nicer. It just feels a lot better. Rather than having to try and, split our attention and whatever. So, yeah, I'm really into the move. I'm really into the way things are playing out, and I think it's very, very exciting. Esteban said AEW needs to sarcastically have long pyro into the show. It might be fun if at some point... it just starts going crazy with explosions, and then they can make out that was meant to be the ending. They could make out now it goes off. They could. I mean, there's loads of stuff that they could do with it. So I don't know how Eddie Kingston is going to explain how he reacted the way that he did. I understand they can say that Kenny didn't build explosives good enough, or was that really all he had in mind, or they can do that. But why did Eddie sell it the way that he sold it? I mean, he acted like he was passed out. He acted like he had just gone through Vietnam during the war over there. So it was that's gonna need some explaining. Other things, there's lots of other news that we need to get to, and I would say this is probably even juicier, and that is the Hall of Fame news. Molly Holly is going into the Hall of Fame now. There's quite a few things to say on this. First of all, I was not expecting a 2021 class because they'd already said that the 2020 class was going in this year. So I wasn't expecting another class. They're putting in 2 classes in 1 year. I mean, I don't even know how they're going to do this, because we all know how long the Hall of Fame goes normally. And now they're going to try and put in 2 years worth of inductions. I don't know. I was not expecting this. I was expecting just 2020 to go in, and we'll get new inductions next year. But seems like we're still pushing forward. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't feel like we need it, to be honest. I kind of feel like we just need to put in the people that need to go in. I do think it's a bit of a concern, because that would suggest everyone's going to get less time. And this is like when the Bulldog is going in. So the British Bulldog is going into the Hall of Fame. The Bulldog finally goes into the Hall of Fame, and he's going to get 5 minutes, or his family are going to get 5 minutes, so that we can quickly get everyone else in. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I kind of think we could save this. We could just not have another class this year and just properly induct the people that should have gone in last year. But Molly Holly goes in. I do think it's a surprising name. She is a 2-time women's champ, so you give her that. But she was only around for about 5 years. I think it was 2000 to 2005, and then she made a few appearances after. But I don't think you could put her in on longevity. It's not like she's a 10, 15-year vet. Um, like she's like 5 years, something like this. Two-time women's champion though. So, you could look at that and say, well, she reached the top really. I mean, she was two-time women's champion. What else is there to achieve? I mean, in wrestling, really. What else? And certainly at that time, there was no women's Royal Rumble. There was no women's Money in the Bank. I do wonder if this is a little bit political because I must say Molly Holly isn't a name I think of when I think of Hall of Fame. I don't mind her going in. I don't have a problem with her going in. I'm not going to be going on Twitter saying this is a disgrace. Why is Molly Holly going into the Hall of Fame? I'm not doing anything like that. I don't mind. But I don't equally. She's not a name I think of when I think of Hall of Fame. But she's a two-time women's champion, as we said. And I do wonder if this is just a way of WWE apologizing. Because I think if you think about what the women went through before the women's revolution, it was quite demeaning. There was like lots of bra and panty matches. They were very much there for their looks. You've got Jerry Lawler screaming puppies on commentary all the time. And I do just wonder if they're putting in a female from that kind of era each year to kind of say sorry, kind of say the work you did was important, kind of say that they were recognized and appreciated. And these are all very, very powerful things to say. So this is what I'm saying. There might be a little bit of politics in there because the way that women were used, in the 90s, late 90s in particular, early 2000s, kind of and beyond, really, just was not good enough. I think we can all agree it was not good enough. I think a lot of us knew that at the time, but, it was bringing in ratings. It was playing to a certain market. And it was the Attitude Era. Obviously, it did go into ruthless aggression, but it took a little bit of time for things to change. Too long it took to change, but they did change. And I do wonder, as I said, if this is just a way of saying thank you for everything you did. It was appreciated, and here's a Hall of Fame induction. So, but as we said, two-time champ as well. So you could argue she deserves it, regardless of what era she was competing in. But we have seen quite a lot of women from that kind of era going in over recent years. And that's just why it makes me think, could it be a little bit of politics in there? But anyway, she goes in. A lot of talk about Peyton Royce as well. I don't know if you saw her promo. Peyton Royce cut a very passionate promo. I think it was on Raw Talk. There's been a bit of buzz about it. I'm not the biggest fan, right? I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think if you compare it to like The Miz and his passionate promo, or the kind of work that Daniel Bryan has been doing on those kinds of shows, Peyton Royce's just doesn't feel that level to me. I think the reason that it's kind of catching on is because we haven't really seen this from Peyton Royce before. So Peyton obviously was in the Iconics. She was very comedy. She wasn't very serious. But on Raw Talk, she was very serious. And it was kind of heartfelt. And she says that, she's got all this potential. And she's tired of seeing the same names at the top. It was kind of very... I didn't feel like I was hearing anything new. I didn't feel like it was being delivered with a real punch. There was a few moments where she kind of looked down as if she was like really trying to sell what she was saying, but I wasn't buying it. I just wasn't buying it. The way that she was delivering it, I just didn't think was... I watched it and I thought, it's all right. It's all right. I didn't think it was a bad promo. I thought it was like all right, but nowhere near the level of what we see from the likes of Miz or Daniel Bryan. There's been some incredible promos on like Talking Smack and Raw Talk. I didn't feel like this got to that level. But if you actually Google it, you'll see there's a few articles where people are saying there's a lot of fans putting praise on it, saying, that it was great, it was awesome, all this kind of stuff. Each to their own, just opinions. But my opinion was it was fine. Just not. I don't know. I must admit, I looked at it and I struggle to see Peyton progressing. I mean, if that is her cutting, if she's been told go out there, cut the promo of your life, no, didn't do it for me. It was passable. It was fine, but that was not promo of her life stuff. That was no CM Punk pipe bomb. That was no, as I said, Miz on Talking Smack when he was, going back and forth with Daniel Bryan. So if we're saying that is the best that she can do, then I don't know, not for me. So news on the Thunderdome as well. The Thunderdome is moving. The Thunderdome is moving to Yuengling Center. I think that's how you pronounce it, Yuengling. And apparently this is where the 95 Royal Rumble was held. And it's in Tampa. And they're moving because obviously they've got to give up where they are right now, Tropicana Fields. I think the baseball is coming back. So they've got to give up Tropicana Fields and go to this Yuengling Center. Now, that hasn't been confirmed, but we're seeing a lot of reports, a lot of the same name getting mentioned by a lot of different reporters now. And I can't remember who it was, but someone said this is pretty much penned in now. Like, if it is going to be somewhere different, then there's been a drastic change of plans. So that's where we're going, basically. The way they do the Thunderdome, though, is that you won't be able to quite tell. Do you know what I mean? They've been in a baseball ground, and they really haven't made it feel like they were in a baseball ground. It's only when you go, like, backstage, like Kevin Owens and Roman did at Royal Rumble, and you got to see a bit more of it once they left the Thunderdome, that you could even tell they were in this bigger space. So I wouldn't expect it to feel any different. I think the Thunderdome's just going to get set up and it's all going to feel the same. So I don't know if there's really anything to get excited about there, but they will be moving very, very soon. The other thing as well is there's a couple of trademarks that WWE have filed. They filed for Symbiosis, which I wonder if that's got something to do with Matt Riddle. Only because it's got bro in it. Symbiosis. So they filed for Symbiosis. And Frankie Monet. I don't know what Frankie Monet is all about, but they filed for Frankie Monet. So there we go. Symbiosis and Frankie Monet. So those two trademarks have been filed by WWE. Jitin says, Cody said that AEW crushed NXT. I think AEW takes competition more serious. Cody knows that if NXT moves, it's moving because USA needs that time slot. He knows that NXT are not running away. He knows that time slot is needed for sport that can't be moved, right? So that's the real reason why NXT is moving. There's no denying that AEW has battered NXT week after week after week in the ratings, but that is not the reason that NXT will be moving. So Cody coming out and saying that
they donated £2
is him
via
just trying to get a bit of press
Do
from
you
it.
have an update on how Tommy's back is doing?
Ricky KV, shout out to you. That is basically Cody trying to get some press, trying to get a dub out of this situation, which I don't mind him doing. I mean, that's good business sense. And I would imagine that Jericho will probably try and do similar as well. And you'll probably see a few like AEW stars kind of making little references or whatever, that they won the war is over, they won the war and all stuff like this. But the truth is that slot is needed for some sport. But I mean, there's no denying that they battered NXT in the ratings week after week after week after week after week. So they can equally still run around saying they won the war and they're not lying. So interesting. Ricky KV says, is there an update on Tommy's back? Yeah, apologies for yesterday. I didn't see Tommy's email. Tommy sent me an email about 4:30, 5 o'clock UK time. I woke up at 9, straight away had something to eat, then sat down, started setting up the stream. And it was only whilst I was setting the stream up, I went to check emails, and that's where I saw this message from Tommy. So that's why the stream was set up, and we got quite close to actually going live. I think it was about 20 minutes away or something. And then I saw this email from Tommy saying that he'd hurt his back. Everything was okay, but he needed to rest it, and there was no way he was going to be able to do tonight. But he was hopeful for Thursday if everything was okay. Still haven't heard anything. To be honest, I haven't checked my emails, so there's a good chance he may have sent something. I genuinely don't know. So right now I don't know. I'm afraid, Ricky, but it was just one of those things. It was one of those things. It's hopefully nothing too serious. I can't imagine it is, otherwise he wouldn't say Thursday. But yeah. Dave in Real Life says, rumors from AEW is that Eddie Kingston is still laid on top of Jon Moxley. Both won't be on tonight's show as they are room sharing. NXT is interesting now with title matches cross Xia Li, and The Way says Jitim. Daniel says, what do you think of Kenny possibly becoming the Impact World Champion as announced last night on Impact? He will be facing the winner of Moose and Rich Swann this Saturday for the Impact belt. Moose and Rich Swann are facing, is it this Saturday they're facing? And then in April, the winner will face Kenny. So I think it's interesting. I think it shows that there is, a real strong relationship there. Obviously, we know him and Don Callis, and we know that Don Callis is, heavily involved with Impact and all of this. So it's no surprise that we're kind of getting to this point. I think there is a chance that Kenny could win one of the titles. I don't know that helps Impact, to be honest. I kind of feel like Impact, if Kenny wins, sort of burying their own roster. I mean, you've got to be very, very careful. If you're Impact, this is great and it's great exposure. I don't really know how much Impact are getting out of this at the moment. I don't know. Does anyone know if their ratings have gone up? I have no idea if Impact's getting much out of this. It's a good way of letting people know that the Good Brothers are their tag champs. But we haven't even seen anyone else. We haven't seen Rich Swann or anyone on AEW. It's only the Good Brothers that have come over. So I kind of feel like there's a lot more that could be done here. And at the moment, it feels like it should be helping Impact more than helping AEW. But I don't really know if it's helped Impact's ratings. So he could win.
Wacky Niribi is a legend. They donated $1.99 via a super chat. Who do you want Christian to get interrupted by?
Hey, Joaquin, shout out to you. I'll answer that in a sec. He could win and then go around carrying all the belts. And if there was a way that you would get to see Kenny on Impact, even just once in a while, might boost their ratings a little bit. Certainly if you put on a juicy match for him on Impact, then it might boost ratings a bit. But equally, I think you've got to be careful because you are kind of burying. I mean, this is champ versus champ, isn't it? Isn't this like TNA champ versus Impact champ to create a unified champ? Isn't that meant to be the man? That is basically the man in Impact. So you're putting up your top guy against Kenny Omega, and I think you've just got to be careful if Kenny's going to win that match because you're basically saying that your roster isn't as good. You're basically saying that Kenny's running the show now. This AEW heel. I mean, it's good in the sense of if you've got a red hot babyface coming through, then you've got Kenny as the heel at the top that Impact fans I'm sure will want to see get taken down. So I don't know. My knowledge of Impact isn't strong enough to know which way they'll go with it. I could see them going either way. I could see Kenny bringing some value to the brand, but equally it might hurt them if they do go that way. because you're basically burying your roster. So difficult to know which way they'll go. I was disappointed to see as well that the Kenny versus winner of that match is the same night as UFC 261. I did have a quick search last night, because if it was on a Sunday and there was nothing on, we would be all over that show. But it's the same night as UFC 261, and fun fact, I'm not missing that show. So yeah, we'll be doing UFC 261 that night. Joaquin says, who do you want Christian to get interrupted by? Let's have a think. Who would be the best person for Christian to face? So I'm guessing he's coming in as a face. I don't know that, but I'm guessing he's coming in as a face. What's Lance Archer doing? Lance Archer might be a little bit directionless at the moment. I'm trying to think of a big heel. He's a heel, isn't he? Because he hangs around with Jake the Snake, doesn't he? So I think he's a heel. I don't know. Saying that, I don't quite know where Lance Archer is right now. I think he is a heel. Christian Lance Archer. The only problem with that is who would win. Like, you wouldn't really want either person losing that, because you kind of feel like Lance Archer needs to get a bit of momentum back. And equally, you don't want Christian losing just as he walks through the door. So it's a little bit tricky. I wonder if you could, like, put Sammy Guevara with him. Sammy's kind of out on his own now. Sammy's just been in the Inner Circle. We don't know what Sammy's doing. But I wonder if no one interrupts Christian. And I wonder if there's going to be something with Sammy and MJF, and, you know, maybe Sammy's going to need some backup. Maybe that backup could come in the form of Christian, or I don't know. I think there's definitely options. It's hard to know what the right way forward is. But you either go with a heel, but a heel that can afford to lose, so someone like Sean Spears, or Lance Archer if you really want to pull the trigger. But you can't really have Christian losing his first feud. So he'd have to go over Lance Archer. Or he doesn't get interrupted, and instead you use him as backup for someone, very much like they've done with Sting. And just off the top of my head, I'm thinking, well, Sammy is out on his own now. So Sammy could probably do with a friend. I kind of, for some reason, I really like the pairing of Sammy and Christian. I don't know why, but I really like the pairing. So Sammy Guevara and Christian, something about that works for me. So, but I don't know how you would play it into storyline, because there's so many moving parts. It's hard to know what's going to happen with the Inner Circle, because there's an Inner Circle War Council tonight. So we don't know if Jericho's going to get booted from the Inner Circle, or MJF, or we don't know what's going to happen with the Inner Circle. As a result, we don't know what's going to happen with Sammy and the Inner Circle. So makes it hard to plan out and predict. Days, did you see Vince congratulate Big Show on joining AEW? I haven't seen it. There won't be footage of that, will there? So I heard that he had got in touch with him. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't think Vince is all that bothered. That's the vibe I'm getting. I think he's probably annoyed that NXT hasn't got rid of AEW, or caused it damage, or slowed its momentum. But I think Vince has slowed AEW's momentum by tying up a lot of the bigger names. I am surprised that he seems to be willing to allow Christian and Big Show to go over. Because make no mistake about it, Vince could have sat down with a list of every legend.
Dazzle by nature is a legend.
And secured them
They
all.
donated €5 via a super chat. Hey Days, how's it going? I can see money. Matt Hardy v Christian at some point being former rivals would make sense for AU.
Hey Bud, shout out to you. You could go that way. The only thing I would say is I feel that if you're going to do that, you've got to have new talent involved. In 2021, I'm not sure there's going to be too much of an appetite for a Christian Matt Hardy feud. Kind of feels like you've got to be working with some of the newer talent and giving them the rub. And I do think that AEW is doing a decent job with that. We said this the other day. People compare AEW to TNA, and they compare AEW to WCW, and it's not comparable to me. I can understand why people do it, but I do think they're doing a better job of using the legends to support talent that's coming through. Prime example being Sting being partnered with Darby Allin. Think about Matt Hardy and the work that he was doing with his feud against Sammy. He's also been positioned to be a mentor for Private Party. So they're using Matt Hardy that way. Jake the Snake, obviously the manager of Lance Archer. Tully, the manager of FTR. Arn Anderson, obviously, with Cody. Like, any older names they've got tend to be put with a younger talent. Seems to be like an unwritten rule. There might even be written somewhere. So I don't know that they would do Christian Matt Hardy. If they was going to do it, then it would be Christian and someone against Matt Hardy and someone. So it'd be Matt and Private Party against Christian and Top Flight. Do you know what I mean? I could see them doing that match. So that way you do still get the rivalry, but you are also getting over some of the younger talent. I think AEW are doing an all right job of that, which is why I was saying when Christian comes in, I could see him very much, working with someone like Sting has, and Sammy. I think would be a very interesting option. Jimmy, shout out to you. Tula says Matt Hardy and Private Party versus Christian Top Flight would be a decent feud. Ricky Starks against Christian. Oh, that's interesting. I suppose I didn't go that way because I still don't know what's happening with Sting and Darby Allin and Team Taz, but I suppose you could be right. That could be it, couldn't it? Revolution might be the end of all of that. Very good cinematic match. I really enjoyed it, actually. There was a few things I would have tweaked and changed, but pretty much say that about any of them. I've seen some awful cinematic matches, and this absolutely wasn't one of them. I'd say it's probably my favourite part of Revolution was the cinematic match. So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was decent, and I thought Sting would look great at times in that match. And yeah, I mean, hard to know what more they can do, really. They had a pretty epic fight in an abandoned warehouse building, and kind of hard to know what more you could do after that. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it will be Ricky Starks. Perhaps they will turn their attention to new feuds tonight. So should be interesting. See which way they're gonna go. I feel like they're gonna need to do something quite big tonight. Because obviously they're going up against a very big takeover type level show from NXT. So I do feel that on paper, NXT looks stronger. Normally, it's AEW that looks stronger. Normally, I sit here and say AEW looks like it's going to be the better show. Tonight, I think NXT looks like it's going to be the better show. You've got, I mean, how can it not? They're defending the NXT Championship, the Women's Championship. Xia Li's in action. I am a fan of her story. Two major announcements from William Regal. It's a timing thing, of course, because AEW have just had their massive show at the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do tonight. Even so, I've got to be honest, I'm still not expecting NXT to win the ratings. I think NXT now are so far behind that even if they stack the show like this, I still don't think they beat AEW. I think AEW is quite comfortably ahead now. So I do still expect AEW to win the ratings tonight. And of course, this is the first time we'll be hearing from Christian Cage. He came out, he signed the contract, and he walked away. Didn't say a word, but apparently tonight we will hear from Christian Cage. Austin, shout out to you. Not sure if I'm interested in seeing Team Taz feud with another ex WWE star again after feuding with Sting for months. Phoebe said, on Raw, I really wanted the "my hole" phrase to be shouted by Nia again. Dave in real life says, NXT is looking mega stacked tonight. I think that was the name of one of the Transformers, wasn't it? Yuang Ling is pronounced Yinling. It's a beer brewed in Tampa. Oh, that's interesting. So you don't pronounce the middle G. It's just Yinling. I'll write that down. Yinling. I've never heard of it. I actually did wonder where that name had come from. Because obviously it sounds Chinese. So weird that there's a building, a major building space in Tampa that's seemingly named after a Chinese person. Yingling. So I don't know. I need to have a look and see where that came from. So that's interesting that you tell me it's a beer. I didn't know that. Rick15 says, Days, did you hear that Aleister Black could be done till his contract runs out? Makes me think about the glass ceiling for smaller guys. Don't forget that he beat Lashley at Mania last year. I did forget that, actually. I totally forgot that. That is a match that has not... If you said, did Aleister... Do you know what? If someone said to me, did Aleister Black face Lashley at WrestleMania last year, I would have said no. I cannot remember that match at all. In the slightest. I don't think we've mentioned that match once since it actually aired. And even now I'm talking about it, I still can't remember it. I still can't picture it. I cannot picture that match. I'm still doubting that it happened. But I believe you. I'm sure it did. I mean, we did a proper watch-along for WrestleMania. I cannot remember that match at all. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why Aleister Black was not treated better. Obviously, now it seems like if this is true, and he is just running down his contract, he will be doing that because of the Zelina Vega incident. It could be that AEW are interested in Aleister Black and Zelina Vega as a partnership, and so they should be. I mean, that is a power couple right there. Zelina Vega and Aleister Black, like real life couple, but working together. It's kind of like a Lana Rusev thing. That would be cool. That would be cool. The only thing I would say is I don't know how you run your contract down, because if you refuse to work, I'm pretty sure WWE just frees your contract, which prevents you then from going anywhere else. So WWE will have got a contract with Aleister Black. They'll say to him, right, we want you here on this date. If he says, no, I'm not doing that because you fired my wife. Okay, fine. Well, your contract gets frozen. So I don't know that you can just run it down, to be perfectly honest. WWE would have to be in agreement. But in all fairness, if WWE was in agreement, it's been a while now. Like, I don't know. Are they really just going to allow him to run it out at home? I don't know. I'd be fascinated to find out. I'm sure, well, we will one day find out what's happening in his life. But it does feel like there's obviously issues. And I think that's such a shame. It's such a shame because I think he's such a talent. But, yeah, I'm sure AEW would snap him up in a second. He's legit. William said he might be waiting for someone to knock on his door. Jitin said, what do you think about Davey Boy dethroning Volta? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I don't mind them having a match, but I think where Davey Boy is in his career is more towards the end of his career. He is at the point where he should be putting younger talent over. I wouldn't be bringing him in and having him as the champ. I suppose you could do it at some point, but I think whoever beats Volta at this point is very much going to be a name. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is a wrecking machine. Has he ever been beaten? I don't even know if he's ever been beaten, has he? Has he ever lost? I mean, he hasn't lost whilst he's been champion. And now he is the longest reigning NXT UK champion. He's had a couple of, well, more than a couple, but he's had some great matches. Such a shame that the pandemic took away a large chunk of his reign, basically. Meant that he couldn't compete. But we've already seen him have some incredible matches and title defenses. And I really feel like, I don't know, I feel like Ilya should be the one. I think Ilya tried and failed. I think he should go away, figure out what he needs to do. Walter can keep defending against other people, and then Ilya gets another crack. And you could do that match at WrestleMania, honestly. I would. You've got 2 nights of WrestleMania. Are you really telling me you can't give one match to NXT UK? Like, I think there should be something for NXT, but I appreciate they are going to have a takeover. In all fairness, you've got 2 nights for takeover. You've got 2 nights for WrestleMania. That's 4 nights of action. Are you telling me we cannot find a place for NXT UK? We can't give the NXT UK Championship a match, or Kaylee Ray, who is also, on a great run at the moment, beat Miko Satomura in a really great match the other night. Are we saying that we can't find a spot for her? I don't understand. I don't understand. Yes, we can, is the answer. And yes, we absolutely should. So I think that you could do Walter against Ilya on that show, or and maybe he loses it there. Like, maybe it's time. I don't know. I mean, honestly, if he was to go for another, I think the scary thing is, if he was to be champion for another 600 days, I don't think anyone would mind. I think everyone recognizes that Walter is this really special, like, superstar. Legit, puts on great matches, carries himself like a champion, really feels like something very, very special. And, yeah, I don't know that Davey Boy is the right person to end that. He can be a challenger, and he can win the title in the future if you want that feel-good moment. But I don't know that he's the right person, because right now it's starting to feel like a mini Undertaker streak. It's like, who's going to be the one? Who will be the one? You're looking around the roster, and it's like, I don't know if there's an obvious name. I don't know if there's a name that stands out as this is the one, but if I was booking, I would definitely have Davey Boy lose into Walter, because I think that adds to the title reign. He would be a great addition as well, Davey Boy coming in. He'd be a great addition. Dave says, losing the title is going to be a big deal. I think they can make it bigger. I think that they need to get him on NXT. I think he is a little bit out of sight, out of mind. I think that we hear about that match against Ilya, and he faced A-Kid, he faced A-Kid as well. And I think you hear about these matches, but not everyone sees them. I think, like, getting him onto NXT would be a good move. Definitely getting him a match at TakeOver at least. I mean, I would be using him at WrestleMania. The only downside with putting him at WrestleMania is that I don't know that he ever wants to move to America. But it's still a good advert for NXT UK. It still gives you an opportunity to talk about a brand that never gets spoken about. Like, NXT UK is absolutely the forgotten brand. It's the forgotten brand. It's just kind of buried away on the network. But, like, they need to just give that a bit of an injection of attention. It's got great talent. It's got Miko Satomura. It's got Tyler Bate. It's got Walter. There's talent there. But I should imagine the views are quite low. I should imagine that, there's not that many people that I hear that watch it. So I think it could do with a bit of love, a bit of attention, a bit of TLC. And certainly what Walter has managed to achieve by being champion deserves respect as well. So good question, though. Good question. Capsman said they had concerts. They had the Royal Rumble in 95, and they have had countless events there. I'm assuming the USF is probably doing commencement like most colleges did. If Matt versus Ray is anything near the level of Nick versus Ray, then we'd be in for a treat. Lauren said Darby versus Scorpio TNT title tonight because Scorpio won the ladder match. Correct. Hope you're well, Lauren. Same as Days with 205, mate, is the same. David, shout out to you. Daniel said, Days, what do you think of Hangman Adam Page and Ethan Page versus Christian Cage and Brian Cage inside a steel cage, refereed by Diamond Dallas Page? That is a dream match. It is a dream match. Page versus Cage inside a cage, refereed by Diamond Dallas Page. I love it. Sign me up. Vern says he likes NXT better than AEW. Darnell says, what do you think about Fastlane coming up? I think Roman will retain. I do as well. I think Roman retains. So, yeah, I very much think that we're going to... the only thing I don't know is Daniel going to be in a triple threat at WrestleMania? Is he going to find a way of still getting in that match? Because there's an argument for it. Because you can do Daniel as being the person that gets pinned. So either Edge wins the title and Roman still looks strong, or Roman retains and Edge doesn't look any weaker. So I don't know if there's a way of getting Daniel into that. I don't want it. I would much rather we just do one-on-one. I keep saying that. I'm a bigger fan of singles matches than triple threats. Adding an extra person doesn't make the match better. You can have great triple threats, of course, but I think Roman versus Edge is just going to be an incredible match regardless. I'm not sure it gets better by adding Daniel. Do you know what I mean? So I would just do it as a singles, but I can see an argument for them doing it as a triple. So, yeah, for me, it's not about is Roman going to retain or not. I'm very confident he will. It's more about will it be a case that Daniel gets added? Austin says, I really hope it doesn't become a triple threat because I would prefer Edge versus Roman and Roman wins. David says, do you remember Christian was in Impact 2005 in debut, then done same as AEW, see MJF, Y2J, Jake Hager. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that they're using them better in AEW than they use them in Impact. I don't think there's any problem in bringing in names because I think you need names to get people's attention. So, I mean, like, look at the excitement in the build towards Revolution where everyone was trying to guess who is this big mystery name. You know, people were talking about Punk, people were talking about Brock, people were talking about all these massive names because there was excitement as to who is going to join. And it turned out to be Christian. I think some people were fine with it. I was all right with it. Some people didn't think it was big enough. Whatever, right? Wherever you fall on that, fine. But I think, you know, it definitely did what it needed to do. It generated a lot of talk. It generated a lot of buzz. And I don't think they're getting in the way of the new talent, and that's the difference. They're working with the new talent. They're trying to build new stars. I think Tony Khan knows that these names are only going to be around for, 5 years or so? And then, you know, he's going to have built stars. He's going to have to find his own Stone Cold. He's going to have to find his own Rock. He's going to have to find his own John Cena. So, like, step forward, Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you know what I mean? Step forward, Hikaru Shida, who I'd never heard of before AEW. Or MJF. I mean, look at MJF. MJF. You got to remember, MJF wasn't the biggest name before AEW. He'd been in MLW, but he wasn't really a name that, like, loads of people knew about. So I do think that AEW is introducing talent. I think if you think it's been around for like a year and a half, and we'd never heard of Darby Allin, never heard of MJF, never heard of Jungle Boy, never heard of Hikaru Shida, and now these are like some of their biggest stars. So yes, they're bringing people in, but I think they're using them in a much better way than what we've seen from previous promotions. But it is a balancing act. You can't just flood full of old stars because they will start getting in the way. So it is a balancing act. You can't take everyone. So you've got to be very, very careful as to who you take and how you use them. But so far, so good. I think so far they're doing an all right job with that. If I was going to criticize AEW, I don't know that would be one of the things I'd criticize them for. Do you think NXT UK would be better on YouTube like Dark, says Chris? Wow, that's a great question. That's a great question. Yes. There we go. I was trying to think, is there any downside? Because the only thing with being on YouTube is you don't feel legit. I don't know why, but I don't know if people aren't used to going to YouTube for that kind of program. I think YouTube at the moment is seen as YouTubers. It's seen as maybe lower quality content, good content, but lower quality. I mean, like, you're not getting Game of Thrones on YouTube. That's what I mean. When I say lower quality, I'm not knocking YouTube content. I mean, like, you're not getting these big cinematic productions. You're not getting TV shows like Breaking Bad. You're not getting these shows that are like YouTube exclusives. So wrestling companies being based on YouTube it's still not really where people think to go for wrestling. And it's still trying to kind of establish itself. I mean, I loved NWA Power, and that was YouTube exclusive. And the ratings on that were okay. I think they would have liked better than what they got. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I think they were getting about 100,000 an episode. And I mean, the good thing is it's always there. Do you know what I mean? You can always go back to that episode and it's always there. But I mean, they would not have been earning much from those views. You don't earn much from views on YouTube, is the truth. Because like AdSense doesn't pay that much. Once you deal with taxes and things like this, you don't earn much from views. That's why you see so many channels being sponsored. That's why Manscaped is everywhere, and that's why these mobile games are everywhere. Because you can make loads more money, much more money, from running sponsors and having sponsors than you can from AdSense. So I don't know if NWA had paid sponsors. They had ads, but they were just jokey ads. I can't remember. I think there was a couple of things they had on there. I remember they did an advert for that Retromania game. And I think there was a couple of things that looked legit, but the rest looked like jokey ads. So I think if you're going onto YouTube, you've got to talk about how you make your revenue. Now, obviously, they're not making loads of revenue over on the network. It's just more content for the network. Would they lose subscribers? Are there people out there that only subscribe for NXT UK? You'd have to take that into factor before you moved. Then you've got to understand that you won't be making any money if you go to YouTube, because you won't make money from AdSense. So unless you could get sponsors and ads added in of your own, then you might make some money. But I don't know that they would do that, to be honest. So yeah, there's a lot to take into account. I think are the pros worth the negatives of the disruption and taking content off the network? Plus, also Peacock has just bought
Wacky
the rights.
Newbie is a legend.
So
they donated $1.99 via
Peacock.
super chat. Days roasted his channel, lol.
I'll roast this channel. Yeah, I ain't got a problem doing that. This is the lowest of quality content you'll find. I don't think anyone's tuning into this thinking, yeah, I love watching those Days watch-alongs. They're just like Game of Thrones. So, yeah, no, I'll quite happily roast this channel. But no, my point isn't, it's not the, I wasn't talking about the quality of the content. I was talking about, like, production, really. You're not finding shows on here that are going to be like Lost or Breaking Bad or, do you know what I mean? Big Hollywood productions. So I don't know if people are still in the mindset of coming to YouTube for wrestling, but there is wrestling on YouTube. It's quite a bit of wrestling on YouTube, actually. So I feel like there could be a way of bringing that together. There could be like a really good channel that kind of rounds up all the wrestling that's on YouTube. Forget WWE and, you know, stuff that's on TV. There could be a good channel if someone's out there that's thinking of starting a YouTube channel. You might get something from that, because the great thing is you can share links, can't you? You'd be able to say, you know, there was this great match on MLW the other day on YouTube. Link is in the description, but blah, 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 blah. And you could talk about MLW. You could have spoke about Power. Grimm's Toy Show, obviously, is a wrestling promotion. Very popular. I mean, I think Grimm gets about 80,000 views for each of his videos. So I don't think he was that far behind NWA, to be honest. So, yeah, you got that as well. I think there's a lot of like indie promotions that put matches up as well. So there's a lot of wrestling on YouTube, but it's all kind of like hidden away in its own little world. There could be a really good YouTube channel. I don't know how successful the YouTube channel would be. I have no idea, but there could be a very useful YouTube channel that just kind of brings everything together. Do you know what I mean? Like a central hub for all the wrestling that's on YouTube. It's kind of like if you want to watch something good, free, that's on YouTube right now, I'll tell you the top 10 matches of the week. I think that's a really good idea. If I had time, I would do it. I don't have time. Right, I need to go over to AEW here and get that set up, because I'm still not set up with Fight, and it's literally a minute away. I've just noticed we've got a minute till we are about to go live with AEW this week. We always get into these kind of conversations and just start chatting away. And before I know it, boom, we're live. We're going. We're rolling. And that is exactly what's about to go down. As I said, I hope there's some reference to the explosion that never was. I'm watching South Park on Comedy Central. Capsman, shout out to you. Darnell says, what's your favourite pay-per-view? Well, do you know what? I think it's easy to say 17, WrestleMania 17, because I think that's widely regarded as the best. And I do agree from start to finish, it's a very easy to watch, very enjoyable show. But I would have to go back to when I was a kid, and I'd have to be looking at some of those. Those would be my favourites. Like, I think WrestleMania 5 has got a very special place in my heart. That was the very first video I got, WrestleMania 5. It'd been out for a while. I didn't get it like when it came out. I got it from a car boot sale, and I hammered that for a weekend. For one whole weekend, I just watched WrestleMania 5 on repeat. Right, we are going over to NXT. There is Finley. There's EO. Toni arriving and EO arriving. The landscape's about to change. William Regal is in the ring, so is Regal doing his announcing? Right, William Regal starting the show. 2 game-changing announcements. Here we go. The first. Little video package. Takeover. Takeover delivers. Now. The first ever two-night takeover has been confirmed. Stand and deliver. Night 1 live on the USA Network. Night 2 live on Peacock. Two nights, one message. We will stand and deliver. Oh, there we go. Stand and deliver. That's cool, isn't it? NXT, stand and deliver. We've got some belts in the ring as well. So the other is going to be about the women's tag titles. So we've got the women from the female division. Right, we've got new belts. We're going to have a look at some new belts. Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai are going to the ring. They might be about to be crowned the first ever NXT. Or they might just be revealing it. NXT Women's Tag Champs. William Regal says, I'm tired of waiting. So we've made a decision ourselves. They're going to make them women's tag champs. Nice. Nice belts. It's the same as the men's. White strap seem a bit shinier. They look the same as the men's. There might be some slight differences, but I don't know. They look the same as the men's tag titles, just on a white strap. And William Regal says, you are the first women's tag champs. They're nice belts. Pretty titles. That's good. Dakota Kai said this is the most talented roster in the world. And we beat you all. Are they a little small? I think they're all right. Wow. Okay, so Ember and Shotzi have come out with microphones. Takeover better have the first title defense there. Can Candice and Indy take it off them, please? Okay, so Ember and Shotzi want to get a shot at these belts. Did they say they want a shot tonight? William Regal's like, all right, here we go. NXT Women's Tag Team Championships defended tonight. Dakota and Raquel against Ember and Shotzi. There we go. 3 belts on the line tonight, says Butter Spark. Tonight, that's wild. Well, there we go. The 2 announcements were the announcements that we was expecting. So, nothing out of the ordinary there. Nothing unexpected. But that's all right. They are still big announcements. I want to see if I can find a picture of the belts for those that aren't watching. So, they'll be able to see them. Here they are. I mean, they're fine. I must admit, well, I don't know. That's what they look like right there. I mean, I think they're just the same as the guys on a white strap. They do look a little bit shinier or something. I don't know. I can't. It's like they've been glossed. And as pointed out, they do look a touch smaller as well than the men's versions. But they're nice belts. I haven't got an issue with them. I think they're quite detailed on the faceplate. And I think they're quite nice. I think it's quite a nice design. So I don't mind that at all. The fact that they're just the same as the guys. Right, now we're going to the NXT Women's Championship match. Haven't even spoke about, we're 8 minutes in. I haven't spoke about AEW at all. Over there, we've got Fenix taking on Matt Jackson in an opening contest. But, yeah, 2 big announcements. And we are going over. We're starting with a Women's Championship match. Io Shirai versus Toni Storm. There's 4 titles on the line tonight. Yeah. TNT title being defended. I think Inncer Circle is going to turn on Jericho, says Jeremy. Awesome start for NXT. Blazed Radio says, great belts, but why not announce both teams as contenders for the belts, handing them to Kai and Raquel? Yeah, that's fair enough point. That's fair enough point. I think the problem is that really when they won the tournament, they should have been announced as the champs. This seems like a weird way of going about doing it. Do you know what I mean? Having them in a match with Nia and Shayna, having them get cheated, and then saying, well, that's not fair that you was cheated, so here's some belts. We said, like, that's if everyone that got cheated in a title match got awarded a belt, then there'd be a lot of people with belts. So it is a weird way of doing it. I think you're right. They won the tournament. They got the title opportunity. They didn't win.
Going Ghost is a legend. They donated $2 via a super chat. I'm loving the way NXT is starting off.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do this every week, can you, of course? You can't do this every week, but it is a special week. 2 massive announcements, and then straight into a women's championship match. I mean, this is somewhat special, in all fairness. NXT TakeOver is Mania Week. Stand and deliver. Anna, full heel doors.
Matthew Willerton is a legend.
Shout out to
They
you.
donated $2 Canadian via a super chat.
Hey, Matthew.
CM Punk versus Shane McMahon at Wrestlemania?
No. I mean, no. I've heard no rumors of CM Punk coming back. We've been waiting for 7 years. We've been expecting him at Rumbles and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know. If he was going to come back, I think they would have brought him back already. Because I think you would want to milk as much out of him as possible, wouldn't you? I think you'd bring it. You would have brought him back at the Rumble, got everyone talking, and then maybe a month later advertised him for Raw, and then had, you know, Triple H come out, or I don't know, whatever you was going to do. I don't know that you would just drop him in this late in the day. Don't know. No, I don't see it, but I don't see it. CM Punk, man, it's just the conversation that never ends, isn't it? Until he passes away, I think we're going to be talking about CM Punk for the rest of his life, unless he comes back to one of the shows. But every mystery person, every time there's a mystery person, every Royal Rumble, CM Punk gets mentioned. It's crazy. The love that wrestling fans have for him is insane. It is absolutely insane. Adam Ant is NXT confirmed for Stand and Deliver. Dave, you are showing your age there. There's a lot of people in this chat that won't have a clue who Adam Ant is. The WWF Championship was created because Buddy Rogers lost the NWA World Championship. Shout out to you, Jim. There's quite a bit to that, though, isn't there? I mean, that's a very interesting time because you've got WWF leaving the NWA. And so they wanted their own championship as well. So there is quite a bit to that. That's a time that I'm quite interested in with, because wasn't it Buddy? Who did he face? Was it Thez? It was either Thez or was it Rocker up in Toronto? And he dropped the title. And WWF didn't want... I can't remember if it was Thez or Rocker, but they didn't want him to be their champion. And so they left the NWA. So there's a lot more to it. And that's how that belt that I've got came about. That was Buddy's belt. Apparently that was Buddy's United States Championship, the one that I have. The first, this is the one we're talking about. This is the first ever WWF Championship. And this was Buddy Rogers' United States Championship, hence why the faceplate is in the shape of the United States. And they had to put this plate on top that says World's Champion. It just got added after. So, little fun fact about the first ever WWF Championship. I tell you, Jim, I can talk about that era for a while. It's a good conversation to have. It's such an interesting time. I can't believe they've never done like a documentary, just like really looking at all of that. It's been mentioned in documentaries, but I think they should really zone in on that because it's the birth of WWE. It's how it all started. Here's EO getting her intro. And we're about to get going. She takes off her championship. We're still underway with Matt Jackson and Fenix over on AEW. Obviously, those two teams will be facing each other. Fenix and Pac victorious in that Battle Royal. And so they'll be going on to face the Young Bucks. I do like what Toni Storm's wearing. I haven't spoke about this, but she's got like white and black stripes. Little bit of a referee vibe on her attire. I can't say I've seen her wear that before, to be honest. Shirai taking down Toni Storm. Toni reversing. Pounding away on EO. This is for the AEW Women's Championship. And still underway with this match on AEW. And super kick. And a kip up by Fenix. Io Shirai to the outside. Toni Storm going against the ropes. Gets caught with a forearm strike. Buddy Rogers lost to Luthez. Oh, so it was Luthez in a single fall match at a time when it was 2 out of 3 falls. Vince didn't like it and left the NWA as a result. Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? So interesting. And then, I mean, I think they had high hopes for Buddy Rogers. But I'd need to have a look as to why the decision was made to put it onto Bruno, because it went onto Bruno pretty much straight away, and then that started Bruno's 7-year title reign. Fenix is victorious on AEW. Nice basement drop kick by Io Shirai. Fenix wins. Fenix wins. Toni face first into the top turnbuckle. So we got Pac and Fenix both in the ring with the Young Bucks in the ring. As well tonight, we've got NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Obviously, we saw them belts just revealed. And Io driving her elbow into the side of Toni Storm. We're going to be seeing Maki Ito tonight as well. Britt Baker, Maki Ito, Nyla Rose taking on Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa. We've got Sting going to be appearing tonight. Ethan Page in action taking on Lee Johnson. Nice reversal by Toni Storm going over. Gets dumped to the outside by Io. We're also going to hear from Christian Cage. We got the Inner Circle War Council as well. And coming up next on AEW, Cody Rhodes. Right, this NXT Women's Championship match is continuing. And Io gets thrown into the ring steps. Toni looks at the camera. And, oh. Here's Eddie. Eddie Kingston. Fair play. Eddie Kingston doing a good job here of trying to save this. Eddie Kingston says that when he tried to save Moxley, he had basically an anxiety attack. He said that it reminded him of when he was in a prison cell and he could start to feel the panic and he didn't know what was going to happen and he basically he blacked out. He says, "Go ahead, make fun of it, call me a coward, whatever." That's good. Eddie saves the day again. I love this man, says Heather. Shout out to you, Heather. Moxley says, you could have come out a little bit earlier. Moxley said he wanted to see a bomb go off, but he's glad that they didn't get blown up. can I just say this is better. Seeing him with Eddie that's probably the most engaged in Moxley I've ever been. That little promo there with Moxley and everything, that was great. That was really good. So I really had to listen to that then because I really wanted to know how they were going to explain it, and I thought they explained it very, very well. I mean, there's never going to be a perfect explanation, but the fact that he said he got anxiety and panic attacks and he blacked out is a perfectly acceptable explanation, to be honest. And it was good seeing the dynamic between the two of them as they were sat there then. And I don't know. I mean, like Eddie Kingston looks like a badass. Moxley there, I actually think looks like a badass. I thought that was a very good promo. I thought it was very
Going
good.
Ghost is a legend. They donated $5 via a super chat. Would like your opinion. Io gets beat before Raw at Mania. She shows up on the Raw after Mania. As a surprise, it is announced she is now on the Raw.
Would like your opinion. Io gets beat before Mania. Shows up on the Raw after Mania as a surprise. Is it announced she is now... It is announced that she is now on Raw. Sure. I mean, the only thing... I don't know that Io's going to be that big of a deal. I hate to say that. I don't know that she's going to be that big of a deal. She doesn't seem to be doing much ratings wise. Her championship reign has been good. She's had some good matches, but I don't know that she's had like these absolutely incredible matches. Like, you know how people talk about Volta and Elia? Is there a single Io match that anyone can say is that level? You know, when we're talking 5-star classics, we're talking Adam Cole, we're talking Johnny Gargano, we're talking, these great matches. Are we getting that from Io? I kind of feel that she is impressive with her flips and her moonsaults, and I was really high on her when she came in, and I still like her now. But I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for these killer matches. I think she has very good matches. I think she has like 3.75 matches. I'm waiting for those 5-star matches. I'm waiting for those 4.75 matches. I'm waiting for these great matches. She hasn't had her Brooklyn moment. That's what it is. You know, like how Bayley and Sasha had Brooklyn. You know how Asuka had her streak, and her dominance and everything. Io hasn't had any of that yet for me. So the reason I'm saying all this is I don't know if it's too early. I don't know if she's still learning and developing, and like, she's got the championship. She's doing a good job with it. This is not a knock of Io. I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler or anything like that. I'm just saying that I feel like she's still putting it together. I feel like there's still a bit of work to be done. Shoulder up by Io. I mean, this is a very good match. She sort of needs more of this. I think there's lots of opponents for her. There's lots of matches for her to have. But they keep doing like multi-person matches. So she just needs to have great one-on-one match. And we are seeing that here. Her against Toni is excellent. This is very good. I'm going to say too soon. I'm going to say that the night after WrestleMania is too soon. I think she needs more of this. It's a good question, though. It's a good question. She's very solid. I mean, I really don't want to get the wrong message across that I'm down on her. I'm not. I mean, her moonsaults are great. Her pacing is great. Her reversals, her wrestling ability. There's lots that she can do, but I'm just waiting for it to get put together into like this incredible match. Because even like at TakeOver, the most recent TakeOver, I think most people were in agreement that the women's title match was the worst one, if you want to word it that way. Not that there was a bad match on that show, but it didn't reach the heights of the other matches. And she can definitely do that. And she's sort of showing it here. Nice crossface by Io. Middle of the ring. Toni in trouble. How long's gone? Half an hour? She taps. Io wins. I think that was, from what I was watching of it, and obviously I was just watching the Eddie Kingston thing, but I did watch quite a bit of that women's match. It was a very good women's match. Very, very good. More of that. Io Shirai has retained. Cody is a good wrestler. Cody's a very good wrestler, yeah. I didn't see who he was facing. Someone that's Norton too. Either way, he's won. Either way, that match has ended. Io is still champion. Yep. How long has Io been champion? Didn't she win it was it In Your House? Was it In Your House she won it? Let's have a look. Io Shirai. Throughout May, Shirai was in a storyline, both Flair and Ripley, which led to a triple threat in your house at the event. On June 7th, Shirai defeated Flair and Ripley to win the NXT Women's Championship. So she won it on June 7th. So she's been champ for about 8 months. So it's been a while now. It's been a while. But you've got to think that TakeOver War Games, she was involved in that. Most recently, she was in like a triple threat match. I just kind of feel like I just want killer one-on-one matches like what we just saw. That's what I want. Killer one-on-one matches. Because there's so many options, so many people that she can face. That women's division is stacked. First ever mixed tag team match on NXT UK. Penta is saying a few words to Cody at the moment. Right, NXT has gone to commercial break. Excellent NXT so far. I mean, right now up there amongst the all-time best NXTs. An incredible first match. And two big announcements. Right, Penta says he is the Lord of Lucha Libre. Penta says, let me speak your language, American Nightmare. At Revolution, you lost. Penta says you're lucky that he didn't hurt you even more and hurt your arm even more. Because if he had, you wouldn't be able to pick up your newborn baby girl. And that's, Cody flipped at that. He jumped over the railings, tried to get at Penta, who was in the crowd, or in the stands. He wasn't surrounded by anyone. And Cody flipping out there. Finn match coming up later tonight. Penta and Cody brawling. Right, so we're in an arcade. We've got Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor. The baby is like 8 months away. He's touchy, isn't he? Orange is sleeping. I think he's awake. I don't know. He's sat on a Fast and Furious racing game. Orange and Chuck want one more match. So, looks like they want to put arcade machines around the ring. And they want to have a match whereby they're going to throw each other into arcade machines. I don't know. Please, no. Dorcas in the fight chat says, oh, Lord, please, no. Right, we got LA Knight. So, AEW goes to commercial break. We got LA Knight on NXT. An arcade lumberjack match. The arcade machines are going to throw them back in whenever they get thrown out the ring. They're not very good at throwing people back in the ring, though, because they're all one-arm bandits. Ah! That's an arcade joke. Here's Bronson Reed grabbing LA Knight. So it looks like that's going to be first feud. Right, Jake Atlas is in the ring. Right, I don't know who he's facing. Oh, Peter. Not a bad way to keep the show going.
Matthew Willerton is a legend. They donated $5 via a super chat. Bella Twins in the Hall of Fame is a complete disgrace. All looks and no talent. I feel this year's Hall of Fame will be a complete joke as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the women's inclusions are tricky because I don't think it's done on in-ring talent, to be honest. I think you could say the same for some of the guys as well. I think it's more to do with their... Oh, I don't know what it is. To be honest, the Bellas I don't mind. I'm just going to be straight up honest. The Bellas I don't mind. Because even though in-ring, they're not Hall of Fame worthy, like talent-wise, what they achieved, whereby they won multiple championships, but I think more than that, what they've done to the brand. If you think about Total Divas, Total Bellas, if you think about, you know, the way they've connected with a completely different audience, like young girls, kids. Young girls, I would say more in particular, but I think the Bellas really helped bring in maybe more female viewers. and kind of start to grow that side of the business. And I kind of think that they probably had an impact bigger than what we realize. Probably bigger than what's, goes beyond the quality of their matches, for example. So I don't mind them going in. I can see an argument for them going in. But I do feel some of the women that go in, it's more of an apology of, sorry. Sorry for how we used you. But we do value what you did. And the work that you did still was benefit, We'll see. We'll see who else goes in this year. Right, on AEW, we've got Sting. Sting says, let me tell you about Darby. Darby is a dangerous, dangerous man. Sting gets a win. Here's Lance. Okay, so it looks like we're building to Sting and Lance, or Darby and Lance. It's cool seeing Jake the Snake out there with Sting. Bystander. Don't quite get that interruption, if I'm being honest. I think there's a few audio issues. Sting, don't know about that. Don't know about that segment. I didn't really understand it. So they're talking to QT. He says, my emotions got the best of me and we'll deal with that in the future. Okay, over on NXT, we're underway with Jake Atlas and Pete Dunne. It is great seeing Pete Dunne on a regular basis on NXT. He is such a talent. Monday night AEW Raw. Well, yes, I mean, they are starting on a Monday night, but I don't think it's at the same time, is it, as Raw? Ethan Page making his way down. This seemed to excite quite a few people. Seems like there's quite a few Ethan Page fans around. So, Ethan Page going to be taking on Lee Johnson. I forgot Oni and Danny were the tag champs. If we're inducting the Bellas, let's just induct Mae Young's hand, son. I don't know if Mae Young's hand had the same impact as what the Bellas had. Maybe some would argue that it did. What the heck? Dunne stomping on his head. Well, Pete Dunne victorious. Bit of joint manipulation, snapping back the fingers, pulling back on the arm. And Jake Atlas having to verbally submit as Pete Dunne is about to speak. This is the time of year where everyone wants to step up their game. Pete Dunne says he's the best technical wrestler in the world. And I dare someone to try and prove me wrong. He's pretty ripped, isn't he? He's looking in great shape. He's still... Here's Imperium. A long time ago, we created something very special. He's talking to Tim Thatcher. Let's take what has always been ours. Tim, we are here for you. Do you think they're using Tim as a Volta replacement? Do you think Volta's out? Do you think because he won't move to the US, they're pushing forward with Imperium, but without Volta? We've got the Women's Tag Team Championship match coming up next. What an excellent, excellent show this has been so far. Excellent. 43 minutes into NXT, it's just been absolutely on fire. It reminds me, actually, of kind of what NXT used to be like, with each segment really being interesting and delivering and just feeling very vibrant. NXT doing a great job. It looked the stronger show tonight on paper, and it's really delivering. So we've got Dakota and Raquel about to take on Shotzi and Ember Moon. If you are just joining us, we do have Women's Tag Team Championships on NXT. It's basically the same as the men's, but on a white strap. Looks nice, a little bit smaller, but looks nice. And also NXT TakeOver is going to be a 2-day event. So we've got that coming up as well. Of course, the second night of TakeOver will be on a Wednesday. It will be on Peacock. And that means that it is going up against AEW. So they're still waging the war. Does that mean there's no NXT that week? Or no, that would actually mean that on the Tuesday, that is going to be the debut, isn't it? The debut of them moving to Tuesdays is going to be NXT TakeOver Night 1, because that's on the USA Network. Night 2 is on Peacock. So they have basically just confirmed that they are moving to Tuesdays on the USA Network as well. They haven't said that they're going to be permanently staying there, but they are on the USA Network on Tuesday. And then they'll be staying there, basically. So that's an interesting way of doing it, isn't it? Get everyone used to tuning in on a Tuesday on the USA Network, and get them used to doing that by having a takeover. Clever. And then night 2, you go on Peacock so that you can disrupt AEW, but also people that are used to watching NXT on a Wednesday have still got something as well. And then that's it. From then on, you're just set on a Tuesday. So I'd imagine that announcement will come as we get closer to that. Right, so we're still underway here with Ethan Page against Lee Johnson. 7th and 8th of April on Wednesday, Thursday. Hall of Fame is on Tuesday. Is it? Are they doing Wednesday, Thursday? I thought it was Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll double check that. I'll double check that. Nice Blue Thunder Bomb by Lee Johnson. It would make sense for them to do Tuesday, Wednesday. If they are moving to Tuesdays, what better way to introduce yourself to a Tuesday than a takeover? And then night 2 goes up against AEW. Hang on, if it's Wednesday, Thursday. I suppose they could still do Wednesday, Thursday, couldn't they? Because there's nothing on a Thursday. Thursday's a rare day off for us all. I'll have a look. Big Slam by Ethan Page. We got Leon Ruff cutting a promo backstage on NXT. And nice cutter by Ethan Page. Kick out by Lee Johnson. Right, I'm just listening to what Leon Ruff's got to say. Right. Not. So it looks like we're going to get Swerve against Leon Ruff next week. Out has come Dakota Kai. And here comes Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know if you saw, but WWE celebrated International Women's Day by putting out graphics of their women's divisions. And it obviously had the champion at the front. But then there was a bigger image just behind. Well, not bigger, but bigger than the other images. So it was kind of like, it felt like this is our champ, but this is also our focus. So, for example, you know, you had like Sasha and Bianca for SmackDown. You had like Asuka and Charlotte for Raw. For NXT, they had Io and Raquel Gonzalez, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, obviously, it just could be some random person that made that. So you can't really read much into it. But I did think it was very, very interesting that even that person thought we'll use Raquel as this kind of second person, you know? Right, Shotzi making her way out in the tank with Ember Moon on the back. Dustin Rhodes has come racing out and chased QT Marshall away. So definitely seems like there's drama there. Right, Ember and Shotzi. As I said, I don't mind these tag titles.
They donated £5 via a super chat. Hall of Fame is Tuesday, Takeover Wednesday, Thursday, Raw Friday, Mania Saturday and Sunday.
Anna, shout out to you. Okay, well, it looks like it's different to what I thought then. I thought that this was going to be how they were going to introduce themselves to being on a Tuesday. So it looks like that announcement is still to come then. So looks like it's night 1 that's going to clash with AEW. And then night 2, it's just on a random Thursday. And then it must be the week after that they go to Tuesday. That really feels like a missed opportunity. Like it seems like it would make more sense. Perhaps the slot's not free. Perhaps they can't do it. Perhaps USA Network can't do it. But it would seem to make more sense to use this as a way of getting people used to tuning in on a Tuesday for NXT, and then do Hall of Fame on the Thursday. That would feel better. But as I said, perhaps that slot's not free on a Tuesday, so they've got to do it this way. Anna Dawes, shout out to you. Right, AEW has gone to commercial break. We're about 9 minutes away from the halftime scores. I think AEW has been all right. I don't think there's really been anything essential there. There's been the start of a few new feuds. You're going to get this, I suppose, after a big pay-per-view. I mean, you've obviously got feuds ending, new feuds beginning. Seems like Lance Archer and Sting, and Darby seems to be something. Seems like there's something going on with QT and Dustin. Seems like we've got something between Cody and Penta. Eddie Kingston explaining what happened at the end of Revolution. So, yeah, they're laying some foundation again, They're laying some foundation. So, I'm not critical of them. I just think that tonight, NXT is far and away putting on the better show. And a bit of drama here in this match because, of course, these two have just been crowned the first ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions and already finding themselves in a match tonight. And Dakota in a bad situation, having to try and crawl over to the ropes. Manages to grab that bottom rope. Back up to her feet, duck underneath. Oh, big kicks, and both her and Shotzi go down. Picture in picture for NXT. So AEW is at commercial break, and now NXT is at commercial break as well. There is no more WWE. It's WWC, says Jimmy. AEW is destroying NXT in ratings. They are. AEW a solid -10. What's with AEW? They're just rebuilding. It's just obviously both shows have got like their own stories going on, and all of AEW's kind of paid off on Sunday, whereas NXT have got their payoff coming tonight. So it's just where payoffs are hitting. So AEW starting some new stories tonight. Right, so we might be going to Christian Cage now on AEW. Wow, okay. The ladies with the brooms have come out. They're brooming away. And looks like Kenny is about to make his way out. And there he is. Look, Kenny Omega. I do love these intros. I love how big his entrance feels now. There's Don Callis. The Good Brothers coming out as well. Yeah, I mean, Kenny is starting to feel, definitely starting to feel like a big, big deal again. He is the, do you know what? I mean, he is the out-and-out leader of this little group, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's got the Good Brothers by his side. He's got Don Callis as like a manager, friend, confidant kind of a thing. But, I mean, Kenny is the star of this little entourage. He's got, obviously, that AEW championship. They're doing some big moves with Impact as well. This is the best that Kenny's ever been in AEW. So, Kenny has made his way out. Let's see what Donna's got to say. This is interesting. So Don Callis says, we called the shots around here. So Don Callis says, looks like we won't be hearing from our new signee. So a little bit of shade being thrown at Christian Cage. The king of the deathmatch, Kenny Omega. It all went according to plan. Kenny says, well, maybe not everything. The explosion not heard around the world. The explosion not heard around the world. Don says, you wanted to see a giant explosion and we're taking the blame, yeah? Don Callis says, I just want to say how happy it made us to take away something that you really wanted to see. They are using it well. They are using it well. I think Eddie Kingston explained his part in it well. We took away Eddie Kingston's star-making heroic moment. It's good that they're making fun out of Sunday's mess. Bert Sparks said, this is a weak excuse, but at least they can joke about it. Don Callis says, we win. So they're saying that they win even more. They win even bigger because if the ring had have exploded, then they would have been done with Kingston and Moxley. But basically, they would have been martyrs. So people would have like loved them even more, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. But the fact that it didn't, and the fact that they were made to look so stupid, is an even bigger win for Callis and Omega. They're doing it really well. I think it's fine. Right, Kingston's walking out behind. So Kingston has come out on his own. There's 4 guys in the ring. Kingston doesn't care. I know you. Don says, I'm going to give it to you straight. So Don Callis is trying to win over Eddie Kingston here. I had to fire you. Dakota is throwing a fit. Well, we are still underway with this women's tag title match. There's a big, big Eddie chant from the fans. You're a little bit outgunned. This is gripping. I mean, what I will say is that there is a great tag match on NXT, but I am gripped by this on AEW. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get out of here. Otherwise, these guys will kick your ass. They've got another countdown clock. 69 me done. Kenny's lying in the ring. Don jumps on top of him. Did I blow up? I almost passed out. It reminded me of the time I got detention at grade school. This is good. This is really good. What do you hope to accomplish, Eddie? First one is free. Of course, he's going to touch him. Big strike by Eddie. And obviously the Good Brothers go after Eddie. Eddie goes down. He's getting beaten on, and out comes Moxley. Kenny is out cold in the middle of the ring. But, yeah, we've got Moxley and Eddie working together against the Good Brothers. I wonder if that'll be a match. We've got new women's tag champs. Ember Moon and Shotzi. Looks like Christian's coming out as well. Man, it's all kicking off right now. Christian's walking out on AEW. Kenny is down in the ring. We've got new women's NXT tag team champions. Did not expect that. Honestly thought it was going to be a case that they were going to be able to retain, having only just been given them tonight. Right, this is interesting. Look, Christian about to step in there with Kenny. This is the moment that the shows have switched over for me. I've been watching NXT intently all night, but now this AEW segment has been fire. We've got Christian face-to-face with Kenny Omega right now. Christian is face-to-face with Kenny Omega. Omega says, all right. And he puts his hand out. Look, he's willing to shake Christian's hand. Kenny's like, you're not going to shake my hand? Fine. Goes to hit. Christian. Kill switch. Don Callis pulls Omega out of the ring. So there we go. We had Christian in there with Kenny. And Christian's grabbed the AEW Championship. I wonder if Christian could do like a Serena Deeb kind of a thing, you know, where he's a veteran and he could like carry the title and just put on great matches. And be this like really credible champion. I mean, Kenny is credible. I don't mean that as disrespect, but obviously he's messing around with Don Callis, having fun. You wouldn't get that from Christian. I think Christian would be very respectful. I think he would be very, like Serena Deeb, just like a really solid kind of throwback champion. I don't think they're going to go that way. I could see them doing a Christian Kenny match because it's a big match. I think it's a good name for Kenny to beat, to be honest. So I could see them doing that match, and I could see Kenny being victorious. But yeah, I do look at it and think, could you have Christian as a kind of Serena Deeb kind of champion? Just a really good veteran wrestler putting on great matches that kind of carries themselves with dignity. I suppose in a way Hikaru Shida's doing that, but she's not a veteran. She's still kind of finding her feet, if you will. Whereas Serena Deeb can just go out there and just put on great matches. I reckon Christian would be able to do that, but there could be a little bit of ring rust as well, so I don't know. I could see them doing that match, though. I could definitely see them doing that match. Right, get in your halftime scores. Xia Li coming up next for NXT. Get in your halftime scores. What do you think of the shows so far? I think the NXT, for me, has been the better show. I think that that last segment was absolutely gripping from AEW. You had Kenny, you had Moxley, you had Eddie Kingston. They were talking about the explosion. They were making fun of it. Christian came out as well. Like, there was a lot of moving parts in that segment. A lot of moving parts. And it made for very, very gripping TV. Kind of felt like a segment you would definitely want to watch. And still don't quite know where we are coming out of it. Obviously, Eddie and John are on the same page now, where they weren't before. And Christian seems to be involved in this as well now. So, a few steps forward there, but a very good segment. Very good segment. AEW 775 says Heather. NXT 7 says Sunny. Austin says NXT 8, AEW 7. Brad says NXT 8, AEW 6.9. Poop out of 10 says Esteban. Rain63 says 8 out of 10 for NXT, 6.5 for AEW. JP Thorne says 6 for NXT. AEW, nothing for AEW because they suck. Austin says NXT 8, AEW 7. John says 7, no Omega Glories out of 10. J14 says NXT 8, AEW 7. J Brock says 9 for AEW. This is one of the better shows of the year for them. They've managed to salvage that botch from Revolution. Miss Clown 1, shout out to you. David says AEW 7. JB17 says NXT 8, AEW 6.75. Imagine Edge and Christian as world champions at the same time. Jeremy says NXT 8, AEW not applicable. Lauren said, thoughts on Dakota and Raquel losing? Not good booking, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I feel that Raquel and Dakota are going to be together for longer than Shotzi and Ember will be. I don't know how much that matters, to be honest, but I think considering they only got it earlier tonight and already that title has changed hands. If you think that since the beginning of 2017, the NXT UK Championship has changed hands twice. It's only changed. There's been 3 champions, and it's changed hands twice since January of 2017. And it's night 1 of NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and they've already changed hands. Maki Ito is here. She really is one of the most popular things in AEW. Just having a little sing-song. She's still singing whilst the teams are fighting. Right, she's still singing away whilst this match is... Why is she not helping her team? I do like the smile at the end. So once she finished, she did go. Takes the her headset off. So she's done a little sing song. And this match has now settled down, and we are underway. Right, Makihito chant. Right, we've got the way. Austin Theory is very upset. Rude Boy, shout out to you. Right, Hikaru Shida in there with Makihito. Give Candice the title, says Austin316. Miss Clown1, shout out to you. Her fall was funny. I don't like these chops. I don't like those chops from Rio. Right, so Makihito in the corner. Oh, yeah, this rope pull thing as well. The showboating is just... It's like a very different culture. Thunder Rosa comes in. Low kicks coming in by Thunder Rosa. On Nyla Rose. And again. And a drop kick. And a forearm smash. I really like Thunder Rosa's ring attire. It's got very Wonder Woman-esque. Went to go against the ropes, but Vicky Guerrero was there. Nyla Rose collides into Thunder from behind, and a nice kick out by Thunder. Thunder going into the corner. We've got Xia Li on NXT. There's Tian Sha. So we're just getting the entrance. It's very good presentation. I really, really hope we're not meant to believe that they're just appearing out of thin air. I don't need that. She does connect with a headbutt. Makihito on Thunder. So, little demonstration from Xia Li of what she is able to do. She is stepping into the ring. Drop kick by Kaden. I gotta tell you, I mean, like, the way that she did her presentation and everything, I want her to go more into it. I don't feel like she's going enough into it. It feels like she's doing all the moves, and then she steps into the ring and she goes like this, and then she kind of turns around and she just gently runs towards Kaden because she knows that she's going to get drop kicked, and she gets drop kicked. And it's like, it feels with Xia Li like she goes through the motions sometimes. It feels like, right, I've got to do this. Now I've got to get into the ring and do this. And now I've got to run over here. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be more. She needs to really lean into it more. She needs to lean into it more. If she's going to run to the corner, run to the corner. If you're going to strike and impose, strike and impose. Like, really stare down the camera. Just take that second, take that beat, take that moment to really, and then snap and turn and run. But it's kind of like, and then a little jog to the corner, and it's just, it doesn't feel like she leans into it enough. It's a great gimmick. I'm into the story. I mean, I don't think they're trying to tell that she's still a bit conflicted. I think after everything she went through, all the water torture and her life being in danger, I think that she would be on board now. I mean, she should be possessed in a way that, like, Alexa is possessed. You know, like Alexa is just not the same Alexa. I don't know that I sense the transformation being 100% complete with Xia Li like it is with Alexa. Alexa's, you know, completely different now. And she's been getting a lot of praise for how she's been displaying that. And I kind of feel that Xia Li is an example of someone that's maybe not doing as good a job as what Alexa's doing. It's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. I'm just saying, I think there's scope for this to get even better. The match is over anyway because Casey Catanzaro on one leg using a crutch. Boa has snapped the crutch. And Tian giving the gesture. Again, even that wasn't shot very well. Do you know what I mean? You go over, you get the moment, and then it just, you kind of go back and, I don't know, Kaden, just a little tap of a crutch and off they go. I don't know. This isn't... Casey did a good job. Casey with the crutch was awesome. Casey with the crutch there was great. Casey was showing some real intensity. Look at the work that Casey was doing. Boa snaps the crutch, throws it away. We then go over to Tian Sha, but I think the production there, like we went to Tian Sha, and then when we went back, I think Kaden was already swinging the crutch, so just felt a bit. I feel like it can be better. I feel like it could have even more impact. Thunder pins Maki Ito. Get the win. And another crutch. Wow, there's crutches everywhere. Britt Baker with a crutch now. Whacking away at Thunder Rosa. And here we go. Britt Baker going to go for that hold, and she's got it. The lockjaw applied. And Vicky Guerrero is smacking Thunder Rosa. The disrespect. Reba as well, driving the crutch into her back. Reba and Vicky Guerrero are laughing together. Okay, so NXT goes to commercial break. Thunder Rosa is down. I think I know who that is. I think it's Karen. Q says JP. Did they just forget about Karrion Kross? Asks Big Boy Dally. No, there's a good chance that we'll see him or get his presence at some point. We've seen him quite recently. We're backstage with Matt Hardy and Private Party. Matt Hardy says we need to bring some more money in. Matt Hardy said he's got more than enough money.
So I am going to add an addition to the Matt Hardy Empire. I have signed a new unit. Outside of us? Yeah. I got them a huge money deal with AEW. It's so big, I think my week fee, they won't even notice it coming out. Let me introduce you guys to the newest addition to the Matt Hardy Empire.
Okay, there's a new addition. Butcher, Blade, and Bunny. Okay, so Butcher, Blade, Private Party, Matt Hardy seem to have their sights set on the Dark Order. Wow, there we go. I mean, it's been a pretty action-packed night. It's been a night of some pretty intense promos. Obviously, we had the announcements from William Regal that we needed to listen to. We had some quite talking heavy segments from Kingston, Moxley, Don Callis, Kenny. So there's been a fair few promos tonight. It's been some good action as well, though. Some really good matches. And I'd say Toni has been the match of the night so far. Obviously, we're getting closer towards Finn against Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. I think that NXT has done a really good job tonight. I think that AEW in the past half an hour, 20-odd minutes or so, has kind of improved, should I say? I mean, that women's tag match was all right. Maki Ito, fun. It's always good to see Thunder Rosa. So, but I think before that Don Callis segment, the Kenny segment was excellent. So, yeah, I think AEW are doing an all right job tonight. I mean, we said this was a big Wednesday night. It is a big Wednesday night. And I don't feel like I've been let down. We've seen a title change as well, of course. We've got new NXT twice, actually. Twice tonight we've had new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. We had the first ever Women's Tag Team Champions crowned. And we then got new Tag Team Champions when they had to defend against Shotzi and Ember. Main event of AEW, I'm guessing, is going to be Scorpio Sky taking on Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. So I would imagine that is going to be our main event tonight. So looks like we're going to have 2 title matches to close out the show as we're approaching the final half an hour. I really like this girl. I really like her. She is one of the most exciting new talents. Zoe Stark. Yeah, I really like this girl. They're just showing, like, the journey that she's been on. It's good. I mean, they must be really impressed with her because they've used her every week. And this is quite the video package. Her ring attire's not very exciting. I can't remember her entrance. She hasn't really got a gimmick yet. If you're a powerhouse, I'm a powerhouse too. If you're a striker, I'm a striker. I wish she had a nickname. I wish she was known as like the female Adonis, Zoe Stark. Do you know what I mean? Or the Dominator. I don't know. Feel like she needs a nickname. The Days Rated Zoe Stark. Right, we've got Darby Allin coming out now on AEW. So Darby Allin and Scorpio Sky. Maybe it's not the main event. Is there any? Have we had everything else? Oh, we've not had the Inner Circle War Council. Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin. And we got Legado del Fantasma making her way out. I don't know who they're facing. Nobfreeze. I don't know. Oh, I do now. Grizzled young veterans. Right, grizzled young veterans. Veterans, yes. How does it feel, lads? To be Santos Escobar's puppets. Right, Darby Allin, Scorpio Sky. It's probably getting my attention more. Every time I look at them scarves, I think Liverpool. I do think Liverpool Football Club. That I don't know. That might get lost on the American audience because they might not look at those scarves and make that connection. But like football scarves are like a thing in the UK, and Liverpool's colours are red and white. So yeah, it's no surprise to see them wearing red and white scarves like that. It does make me think of Liverpool Football Club. Right, we are underway with that tag match, and we are underway with Scorpio Sky against Darby Allin. Days, it'll be Devlin Escobar next week. That'll be interesting. Long overdue. They should unify the belts, really. So, yeah, big news. New women's tag team champs. The fact that we've even got the titles in NXT is pretty big news. Devlin returns next week. There's a liver bird on the shirts as well. Oh, I can't say I noticed that. Obviously, that's a big symbol of Liverpool as well. I love LFC. Oh, hello, Breezango. I bet that's not Breezango. I bet Breezango attacked from behind. It's not Breezango. It's actually MSK. So I wasn't expecting that reveal. I thought it was just going to be some random dudes. But it was actually MSK. And that distraction has cost the grizzled young veterans So it looks like Grizzled, Young Veterans, and MSK are on a collision course. Scorpio Sky out the ring. Darby Allin underneath that bottom rope. Phantasma wins. Yep. And there's, there we go. Breezango attack from behind. Breezango, Tyler Breeze, Fandango. Oh, lovely. Super kick by Tyler Breeze. Fandango. Oh. So, Breezango in the ring. I really like Breezango. MSK want to have a little dance with Breezango. Scorpio Sky in control at the moment against Darby Allin. We're going backstage to see a very upset and annoyed Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Doesn't matter if it was 5 seconds, 5 days, or 5 weeks. We will always be the first ever. Oh, this is interesting, though. EO? Look at the size difference! Look at the size difference! Well, I've got to be honest, I don't fancy EO's chances. Raquel Gonzalez says, be careful what you wish for. Look at the size difference. EO against Raquel Gonzalez. If someone's beating EO, I would have said Raquel Gonzalez. Maybe that's why she was the second person on that image I was talking about earlier. And the chat was saying, could she lose and then go to the main roster? EO's reign is over. Well, I'll tell you, it is definitely one to consider. It's definitely not looking good for the reign. I'm going to say that it is a moment of the night. And there we go. Raquel will win that one. Heel Santa says, sign me up. That is my moment of the night. I feel like I need a little jingle. I might create a graphic so that if we do have a moment on a regular basis, then I wonder if... This is for you, Austin. That'll be everywhere now. He loves them memes, he does. So, NXT has gone to commercial break, and we've got Scorpio Sky in control with an abdominal stretch on Darby Allin. Good little match, this. I am trying to keep an eye on it. Darby Allin going hard into the corner and being stretched out, but manages to power out of it. Austin says, thanks. Thanks, Days. Days, is the Inner Circle meeting going to be the last thing on this show? Well, I think so. I think so. I mean, we've still got a long way to go, in all fairness. There's still 24 minutes. Which might not seem like long, but you could do Inner Circle and something else after. I am just looking, and everything... We've had everything that was announced. So, don't know. I think they are going to give this match some time, and it deserves it. Michael Marone, shout out to you. Brandon said, Days, you should make a Reddit for Austin's memes. I don't know what a Reddit is. I never go on. I don't think I've ever been onto Reddit. If I have, it's only been to see what it is about. And then I probably didn't know what it was, and then I left. So I don't know that I would be able to do that. I do think there could be an account whereby all of these are made available for people to just take and use if they want. Because when I say Austin has got hundreds, that is actually an understatement. Right, we're about to go back to NXT. There's Timothy Thatcher. Thatcher's Thatch Can. Here's Ciampa. Ciampa says he's interested in the Le General. If you're not with them, you're against them. Thatcher and Ciampa against Imperium. Looks like Thatcher's having a few concerns. Loomis against Austin Theory next week. Oh, I'll tell you what, could you imagine La Ring General taking on Tommaso Ciampa? There's very few matches that get me hot and bothered. That gets me hot and bothered. LA Knight is going to make his in-ring debut next week. Shock the system. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Still coming out with Undisputed Era graphics. Still coming out with Undisputed Era music. Wearing the same attire that he won the title in back in 2019. Adam Cole is wearing the same ring gear. No. Adam Cole, baby! Wow, this is going to be good, man. How is this not going to deliver? Scorpio trying to get the pin on Darby. So Adam Cole has made his way down. We got 20 minutes left to go. Darby Allin put over in the corner. Scorpio Sky climbing up. Back elbows by Darby Allin. And again. And here comes Balor. Went for the coffin drop. Scorpio Sky caught him and powerbombed him. That was a good little spot. I think this is some of Finn Balor's best work. I think this reign has been better than his first reign. I think his first reign was dominated by the Demon, and everyone wanted to see the Demon. I just think this reign has been more about him, and it's been more solid. Looks like Darby has managed to get the win by rolling up Scorpio Sky. So, didn't really beat him, just managed to steal the win. Well, it's not really stealing the win, but... Good little match, this. So, Balor still making his way down. Inside cradle. And Darby Allin retains. Did he retain? He did retain. Darby wins. Banger of a match incoming, says Jeremy. Right, Balor over in the corner. Oh, Scorpio Sky. Oh, Scorpio attacking Darby after the match. He snapped. Scorpio Sky. Oh, look at this. Yeah, he is trying to injure him. He's got hold of his leg. And it took 4 referees to get him off. Scorpio Sky is smiling. Scorpio Sky is acting like Bob Backlund. You know, like Bob Backlund when he used to put on the chicken wing. And then afterwards he would look at his hands. Because he couldn't believe what he had just done. That's kind of what Scorpio Sky has just done there. He looked shocked, like he couldn't believe he'd done it. And then he looked at his hands and he started smiling. There we go. Bob Sky. Scorpion Backlund. Right. We said tonight's been quite promo heavy. It's going to continue to be promo heavy because we're going to have the War Council coming up. Shoulder tackle by Adam Cole, baby. St. Patrick's Day Slam next week. I didn't even realise it was St. Patrick's Day next week. Unsanctioned lights out match. Anything goes. It's a bit kinky, isn't it? Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa in a lights out match. Anything goes. That's what she said. The Inncer Circle War Council is up next. Now, this is going to be tasty, isn't it? This is going to be good because it seemingly is going to be main eventing tonight. A women's main event next week on AEW. March Madness. Jade is jacked. She looks good, doesn't she? So AEW has gone to commercial break, and we're still with NXT and Adam Cole. Has Adam Cole got some tape on the back of his ring gear? There seems to be some like thick black lines on the back of his trunks. I didn't know if it might be the names of the other Undisputed Era members that he might have like just taped over or crossed out or something. I can't tell. There seems to be like a thick black line. A couple of thick black lines. Perhaps they're meant to be there. I don't know. Just caught my eye. And Cole was looking for a super kick, but Balor was able to move out the way. And NXT goes to commercial break. So, whoo, we've been spoiled tonight. Finn Balor is sexy. Lights are kind of out. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Good Brothers next week, says Daniel. Balor versus Cole in a fast-paced match, says JP. John says they're meant to be that. Well, look, if anyone's going to know. If anyone's going to know, John's going to know. I'm sure John will be able to tell us who made them, how many times he's wore them, the thought behind them, what everything represents. I can't say I've noticed them before. I did just wonder if it was the names of the other members that he might have crossed out. So it's good to know they're meant to be there. A lights out match. Who is that? Who turns off the arena lights first? Yeah, lights out. It's a bit strange, isn't it? How are we meant to see it? Guys, this is a 5-star classic. This is 5 stars. You can't see it. It's pitch black. But you're just going to have to believe us. This is the greatest wrestling match ever. Dave Meltzer still gives it 5 stars. Best wrestling match ever. Wow, look at that. I've never seen that move before. This action, so fast-paced. Lights out match. I wonder how many times they could get away with that. Right. Inner Circle. War Council. Wonder how this is going to play out. I wonder where Sammy is. So, Balor, Cole, just a commercial break. But we're well underway with that match on NXT for the NXT Championship. And over on AEW, we've got the Inner Circle. We just got to sit through the usual 10-minute Judas rendition. The Inner Circle is about to get a new leader, and his name is MJF, says Jason. They kicked Sammy out. Well, I think Sammy left, didn't he, actually? But what I mean is, where is he? Like, what's he up to? What's his next feud? Is he going to attack tonight, one of these guys, or... When any great army needs to change course during a battle, they have a war council. So Jericho says that Inner Circle has been in a decline, but it's easily remedied. Maybe it's time to introduce a new member. MJF says, whoa. There's a big "you suck" chant. MJF says, with all due respect, I don't think we need a new member. Maybe it's time we let someone go. Ah, here we go. Sammy Guevara making his way out. Yeah, it's good ovation. He's got a leather jacket on. He's got, I think, his own merch, his own T-shirt. Big boot by Adam Cole. Finn Balor goes down. This is interesting. I know you're not happy with me. I know you don't want to see me. Sammy, you are dead to us. I need you to see this. He's going to show him something. So he's set up a hidden camera in the room. And you can see them chatting around. Here we go. Look, we got Hager, we got Santana, we got Ortiz, we got MJF. We need some new leadership, says MJF. Hager, Santana, Ortiz. All on the same page that... MJF says, I didn't want you to find out this way, but oh well. Are they going to turn on MJF? Yeah. They turn around. They turn around. MJF is in the ring now. He's like, hang on, hang on. You really think we don't talk to each other? Jericho says, Seamless, I'm the one that brought you in. I'll be the one that takes you out. He pushes over MJF and MJF goes down. We're still underway with this title match. I would imagine there'll be the overrun. Your ass is fired. MJF says he's trying to get Jericho to stall here because Jericho's going to beat him up. MJF starting to get upset. MJF says, I didn't want your inner circle. I was too busy building my own. Lights have gone out. Oh, this is good, isn't it? This is good. I hope this is the launch of Outer Square. Right, what we got? FTR. Sean Spears, Wardlow. So FTR, Sean Spears, MJF. I wonder what they're going to be called. The newer Horsemen. The 4 horse people. If they're called horsepower. Right, they're beating up the Inner Circle. So we've got a new faction. FTR, MJF, Sean Spears, Wardlow. Knee strike by Wardlow. So MJF just sat in the corner watching this all play out.
Nick Reader 13 is a legend. They donated $6 via a super chat. It's the Horseman.
The Horseman. That's a cool name, isn't it? The Horseman. There's something about it that's lacking impact for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because we see beatdowns like every 5 minutes or what it is, but MJF hits Jericho. Jericho goes down. I like the twists and turns. It's a good segment in the sense of you don't know who's going where, what's happening. So it looks like they're turning on Jericho, but then they side with Jericho. Then it looks like MJF's going to get beaten up. Then there's the reveal of the new group. There's lots of twists and turns in this segment. It's very good. Blood coming down the face of Jericho after he got hit with that ring. Jericho on his knees. Jericho kind of trying to plead here with MJF. Big strike. Jericho goes out the ring. Sammy Guevara's down. He got put through a chair. Jericho's getting the worst of it. The Inner Circle has been destroyed. I don't know where they're taking him. Where are they carrying Jericho to? Oh, there's a table set up. Looks like Wardlow's going to powerbomb him through a table. Wardlow picks up Jericho. Through the table he goes. It's good. It's good. Blood all down the face of Jericho. The blood definitely adds. I think the commentary is making it worse. The commentary's not like, oh my God, he's got a family. Make this stop. What? How dare he? How dare he do that? How dare he turn? Jericho took him in. Like, there's none of that. It's like, this is an all-star team. He's hurt Jericho. Jericho's hurt badly. It feels like the commentary is pouring cold water all over this thing. I think commentary have ruined that moment. Honestly, when that turns, you want some excitement on the commentary. You want some, oh my God, MJF has turned. He's turned on Jericho. You want the commentators losing their minds. And it didn't have that. It was just like, right, wow, look at this. They're doing this now. They're doing that now. I don't know, man. Commentary is not good enough. It's not good enough. I mean, if you think that JR, good guy, he's got a family, damn it. All these kind of iconic lines that he used to come out with in the Attitude Era. Honestly, you've took a big segment there and you've just poured cold water all over it and just really dampened it down.
Wacky Niribi is a legend. They donated $1.99 via a super chat. For segments air you for matches NXT, what do you think?
Hang on. For segments, AEW. For matches, NXT. Yeah, I could vibe with that. Yeah, I could definitely vibe with that. I thought Darby Allin Scorpio Sky was very good. I was saying I felt this second part of AEW this week was better than the first. And that really did continue. Certainly with that kind of close and final match that we had. But saying that, Adam Cole and Finn Balor has been excellent. Again, I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but I knew that we would go into the overrun. We just had Panama Sunrise. Finn Balor kicking out again, and the look on the face of Adam Cole, he can't believe it. Wade Barrett says you're going to have to run over Finn Balor with a Mack truck to keep him down. He was looking for the knee strike, the kill shot, but gets thrown over the top rope. So Adam Cole is down. I do want to keep very, very close attention to this match because I haven't given it the attention that it deserved. Here's Kyle O'Reilly. And Adam Cole looks like he's seen a ghost. Gets the ropes, goes Balor. Balor over the top, comes crashing down onto Adam Cole. Balor looks at Kyle O'Reilly. 1916 on the outside of the ring. Kyle O'Reilly's got like a denim little jacket. Black t-shirt. Coup de grace by Balor. 1, 2, 3. So Balor wins. Very good match. Kyle O'Reilly with the distraction. He didn't really do anything. He just literally just walked out. That was the only concern with this match, was that you felt it was going to go that way. There we go. Adam Cole, Balor has concluded. Oh, that's cool. I think it's a Metallica shirt. Looks like, was it Ride the Lightning that Kyle O'Reilly has got on? And Balor's like, all yours, mate. Balor slumped down in the corner as Kyle O'Reilly comes into the ring. And Adam Cole's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm sorry. Oh, he goes for a low blow. Kyle O'Reilly catches his arm. He grabs the Undisputed Era armband and takes it off of Adam Cole. Throws it down. Big kick to his face. Here we go. Look, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Wow, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird watching them go at it. I know they've faced each other before. But in NXT, it's weird. Certainly a massive storyline that they can get loads out of in 2021, though. Kyle pushes down the ref. Grabs Adam Cole, throws him into the barricade and the plexiglass. You did this. He starts shouting at Adam Cole, slapping him around the head. Man, both shows ending really well. Adam Cole going up the entrance ramp. But gets stopped by Kyle O'Reilly, who starts unloading on Adam Cole. Adam Cole managing to escape. Kyle O'Reilly trying to go after him. So carnage at the end of NXT. Balor alone in the ring. What took you so long? And he turns around and there is Karrion Kross. What took you so long? I think they were really running out of time. They could have milked that even more. Do you know what I mean? It felt like when he said, "What took you so long?" We moved very quickly. Everything seems to be just that split second rushed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would have much preferred it if there was just a moment where Balor could have just like been staring, and then just out of nowhere tilts his head and says, "What took you so long?" And then just hold. Pan across. But instead it was like, "What took you so long?" There's Karrion. It's all just too... In fairness, they had like seconds left of the show. They had seconds left, so they had to just do what they had to do. But yeah, that's cool, isn't it? We are building clearly towards Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. We're building towards Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. And obviously, we've got big moves being made on AEW as well. MJF with his own group now. Looking forward to finding out the name of that group. And it looks like we're going to be building towards... They need a War Games, don't they? We've always said, like... The problem with War Games in WWE is that you know when it's happening. And you know that just by chance, that we're going to need a War Games at that time. Right? And then, wow, look at this. War Games is next. Amazing. But in AEW, they could do a War Games like now. Maybe you do like Inncer Circle versus whatever this group's going to be called, MJF's Horsemen or whatever. Maybe you do like just a normal match, but it just breaks down and you don't get a winner. And then maybe we try something different and that breaks down. And eventually it builds to... There's no option. We've got to do it. We've got to do War Games. Now, I don't think they can do War Games because I think that's owned by WWE. So I don't think they can do that gimmick. I'm sure they could come up with something else similar. Like, I wonder if they could get away with 3 rings being put together. Do you know what I mean? If you think War Games is 2, do you think they'd get away with 3? Would that be different? They couldn't call it War Games. I don't know what they'd call it, but I'm sure they could come up with something. I wonder if they'd get away with 3 rings. But yeah, rather than like trying to find competitors to have a War Games match, it would be nicer if this now resulted in a War Games match. It would feel like the right way to book it. So, Games of War. Yes, Games of War. Game War.
Going Ghost is a legend.
Yeah, they could just
They
switch
donated
it.
$2 via a super chat. Great NXT show. Almost had a mini PPV feel.
It was good NXT show. Blood and Guts. What was the Blood and Guts match? Why am I not recalling that? I can't think what happened in a Blood and Guts match. Let me have a look. I mean, I definitely watched it. I just definitely can't remember it. Let's have a look. Blood and Guts. What was the rules of that? Blood and Guts. Oh, not a great thing to just put into Google without putting AEW, in all fairness. Circle versus the Elites. One giant covered cage. Oh my God, why can I not remember this match? A cage match. Did it happen? Was I in a coma? What happened? Why don't I remember Blood and Guts? They're saying that it got postponed. Did we end up getting it? Did we end up getting it? Blood and Guts was War Games. It was under a different name, but it never happened. Oh, this is why I don't remember it. This is why I don't remember it, because it never actually happened. So this was going to be a cage match under a different... Well, there we go. We never got it last year, so you do it this year, Blood and Guts. Brilliant. Yeah, maybe that's the idea. Because amazingly, it was this time last year that we was meant to get the Circle versus the Elite in a Blood and Guts match. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think it is going to build towards that. I definitely think we're going to get these two groups in a Blood and Guts match. Ah, well done. Well done, everyone. Jim Gore said Blood and Guts was supposed to be AEW's version of War Games, but was cancelled due to COVID. Jeremy said they did the Stadium Stampede because they couldn't do the Blood and Guts. Right. I do not remember this. It's funny because I look at the graphic and I definitely remember the graphic and I remember the name. But, yeah, cool. Okay. Well, I think this feud will definitely go that way, and I'm looking forward to that. As I said, I really like it. I thought the way that it had its twists and its turns and all of this kind of stuff. The only thing I would say is, why would MJF ask Hager, Santana, and Ortiz to join him if he already had plans to start a new faction? Was he actually double crossing them? Was they going to join him? They were going to attack Jericho, and then he was then going to still bring out his new faction. I don't know. Just seems a bit weird that he's asked Hager, Santana, Ortiz to join him and for him to be the leader when actually he just started a new group anyway. So, it don't matter. It could be that his plan was that they were going to attack Jericho and then he was just going to destroy them anyway. But anyway, we got where we got and it was good. NXT 8.25. NXT 10 out of 10, says David Conley. Balor, Karrion Kross at TakeOver. I think so. NXT 9, AEW 6 out of 8. NXT 9, AEW 7.5, says Austin. Jinsin says NXT 9.5. Brendan says 9.85. J14 says AEW 775, NXT 8. Darnell says NXT 825. Amanda says AEW 8. Anna Heel Doors says NXT 9. Jay says AEW 775, NXT 8. William Hensey says NXT 8, AEW 5. 1987 Big Fan says NXT 7, AEW 5. Jeremy says NXT 8, AEW I didn't get a chance to watch. Archie says NXT 9.25. Lamore says AEW 4. Firefly Revolution, shout out to you. Robin813 says NXT 9. John Costello says 7.3. Jericho bled. Adam didn't out of 10 for AEW. Sonny says NXT 9 on the verge of being a 10. Wow. Firefly Revolution says NXT 8.5. Daniel said it was meant to happen on the show that Matt Hardy and Brody Lee debuted. It would have been a stack show. Brody would have debuted in his hometown of Rochester. Yeah, that would have been fire, wouldn't it? Such a shame that he was robbed of that, and the fact now that here we are, and obviously he's passed away and never got to compete in front of fans. Isn't that mind-blowing? Well, I say in front of fans. Obviously, there were some fans at Daly's place, 100, 200, 300, 500, whatever. But, I mean, 10,000. Like, never got that opportunity. Awful. So, let's go through the scores. I do think NXT overall was the better show. I think that the end of AEW actually got it closer. I thought that the Darby Allin Scorpio Sky match was really good. But then I thought Finn Balor, Adam Cole was really good. I think the War Council thing was good as well. I just think the commentary put cold water all over it by not being enthusiastic enough or making it feel like the big deal, the big moment. You know, this is a brand new faction that's arrived. MJF has left. Sammy Guevara might be back in the Inner Circle. He clearly has got Jericho's best interests still at heart, and Jericho's going to appreciate that. Clearly, you know, building towards something quite big. So it feels big. Does feel like a bit of a landscape shifter for AEW. But saying that, NXT shifted their landscape as well, announcing the first 2-night takeover and NXT women's tag titles. The thing with NXT, the reason why I wouldn't say NXT is 10 out of 10 is because I think it is a shame that the main event had Kyle O'Reilly with a distraction. I understand that they do it to keep Adam Cole still strong, but I feel like that was a little predictable. Also, I do agree, it's a bit of a shame that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez lose the tag titles already. So I think that's sort of a shame. I also, as I said, you know, Xia Li, I really love what she's doing. I love the gimmick. I think she does well. I just think you look at it and you go, there could be just that little more punch in there. Same with that ending as well. You want that extra second, those few moments. Just, it's the detail that makes the difference. You just want Balor to stand and just there to be a moment of a head shift where you're like, oh, what's this? And then he takes another second before he says, what took you so long? What's he on about? Then another second, the camera pans, and there's Carrion. But that whole process was done within like 1 second rather than it being 3, 4, just taking that time to breathe. So it's just these little niggly things tonight, in all fairness, but a very, very good show from both, really. I think if you watched either of these shows, you would have been entertained. I think with NXT, there was a lot of matches that could be on dark, in all fairness. I don't know that every match kind of delivered tonight. I thought the start was a bit, you know, first hour was a bit, NXT was far away ahead of AEW for me at the halfway point, but they did close the gap. So I'm going to say that NXT, solid, and on the verge of being a truly incredible episode. I don't know that it quite got to that level, so I'm going to give it an 8.25. I think there was a bit predictable in there, a few things that were predictable, a few things in there that, as we said, I'd tweak and change. Not a bad episode by any means. I mean, we are in the 8s. Big announcements, big matches, solid score. I think for NXT, for AEW, sorry, they put on a solid show as well. But I think they are coming out of... Actually, that feels harsh considering that ending. I think they're coming out of Revolution. And as a result, I think they are rebuilding. Let's put it that way. It felt like tonight there was quite a bit of rebuilding. You had, obviously, Lance Archer and Sting. You had Penta and Cody. So it feels like Scorpio Sky turning heel. You know, felt like there was a few changes that were being made. Yeah, I feel like that's about fair. I feel that NXT was definitely the better show. And I really like what was said. I think that AEW had some of the best talking segments, but maybe some of the better matches were over on NXT. I could be tempted to go 7.75. You know, the more I'm thinking about it, the more AEW did put on some good stuff. That Scorpio Sky Darby Allin match was good. Maki Ito was fun as well. I'll go 7.75. You know, I actually thought the second part of the show was really good. I really enjoyed both. shows. I thought both shows stepped up and delivered. Yeah, I'll go with that. That feels fair. The only AEW Impact match I want is the Butcher Blade And Ali versus Decay, says Jim. Austin says you should go for a 9 for NXT. No. I don't think it's that high. I don't think it's that high. There's no matches here that are like 5-star classics. I mean, what if the main event hadn't been predictable? What if it had been a 5-star match? What if like you got a big surprise, someone arrived? Like, you have to take into account that they could have done even more. It was a solid show, but I didn't see any matches that were 5 stars. There was a few moments that I think could have had even more punch. And I'm not sure that I agree with the Dakota Kai Raquel Gonzalez booking. So I definitely feel like we're in the 8s. And this, make no mistake about it, for a Wednesday night, that is still a high score. We don't tend to go in the 8s that often. Most shows are around 7s. So we're still a high score. But I don't think I could justify a 9, to be honest. I think you could make this show even better. It could easily. So I feel quite comfortable with that. The question more so is, where do I think AEW is in relation to NXT tonight? I do think it's a touch behind. But I think all things considered, they actually did really, really well. I really enjoyed both shows. As I said, I think either one that you watched, you was going to be entertained tonight. So do you know who won? Wrestling fans won. Wrestling fans won tonight. That's who won. Woo! Mayhem says NXT and AEW were both equally as good. 7.5 for both. Anna Heel Doors. Shout out to you. Oh, I want to watch that show. I think that's the one that's got Triple H and Steph going around, trying to find stuff out and about in America. Kind of like storage hunters or whatever.
Anna Heel Doors is a legend.
You know,
they
the
donated
American pickers.
£5 via a super chat. WWE just announced new show about the iconic memorabilia Sunday Ari 18.
That is awesome. I remember them asking for people to get in touch if you had iconic wrestling memorabilia. So, you know, maybe you had a banner from one of the pay-per-views. Maybe you had a throne or some prop from an entrance, or maybe you managed to grab the ring bell, or maybe I don't know how these things get out there, but yeah, like just saying, let us know what you've got. And then Steph and Triple H are going or have been on the road, filming, you know, looking at these items and giving backstory to the items as well, and all of it's going to be interesting. How did they get the possession of them? Do you know what I mean? How did they get them? What did they pay for them? Why is the item iconic? Is it an item we've seen before? I wonder if there's an item that Triple H will offer to buy. He loves memorabilia. He's got all the belts on his walls. If he sees something really special, you'd imagine WWE would want it back. And they've got money. So I wonder if there'll be an item that Triple H is like, I want this. How much? Oh, I want to see that show, man.
Legend. They donated $5 via a super chat. That Cole versus Balor would have been a 5-star if it didn't end that way. That really could have been a classic.
It was very good from what I saw. Very, very good from what I saw. I do think it's always difficult to have 5-star matches on a TV show with ad breaks. Not impossible, but I think it is more difficult. And honestly, I mean, it's difficult to say because I didn't watch every second of it, because obviously there was that big AEW segment going on. I mean, gotta tell you, I'm so excited for when NXT and AEW go on different nights, because I do feel that I do miss out on, you know, a few things. I think we get a good read of it, and you guys obviously help bring me up to speed if there's anything that I have just missed, any graphics or something on commentary or whatever. But no, it was a very, very good match. I can't say that for me it would have been 5 stars, but then I can't say that I sat and watched every second of it. So I just know that I expected Kyle O'Reilly to get involved, and he did, and I don't know. Either way, very good night. very, very good night. Going Ghost, shout out to you. They got a hold of Zack Ryder like the week after to check out his figure collection. Is that true? After they let him go, they got in touch with him going, can we have a look at your figure collection, please? Yeah, man, that's gonna be a good show. That is gonna be a good show. I hope they find some like 60s stuff. I understand people would be excited about figures and people will be excited, but I feel like I feel like I know figures. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there might be some interesting prototypes that I've not seen, but I know about the Kamala, Hasbro, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I'm that excited for that one. I'm more excited for like cool stuff that I don't know about. I wonder if there's anything from like Showdown at Shea, which were like a couple of big shows that WWE did before WrestleMania. So I wonder if there's like anything from there. I wonder if there's anything from like Bruno's title reign, or like Jim was talking earlier about when like Buddy Rogers was the champion, or when, what about when WWF, or WWE as it's now known, of course, used to be called Capital Wrestling. I wonder if there's anything from that era whereby we can go right the way back. Because the first ever WWF Championship, the one that I showed earlier, that was apparently in someone's loft. That was an item that was out there. WWE didn't have that. That was in someone's loft. And they managed to purchase it and get it back. But those are the kind of things that are out there. Isn't that mental? That the first ever WWE Championship was not in WWE's possession. It was just out in the world. It really does make you think, what else is out there? What else is out there? I think they've got the first IC belt. I don't know if there's any belts they don't have, to be honest. There could be some belts that they still need to find. Yeah, I'm really excited for that show. I am really excited for that show. It should be really, really good. I can't wait for them to go on to Tuesdays. They are brilliant spots that happen, and I'm like, Days, turn your head the other way, and you end up missing it. Yeah. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. Days, what was your opinion on the Inner Circle split? Well, I don't think they have split. I think they're back to being as they were. I'd imagine that they're united. They double-crossed MJF. They were standing united. It was just that MJF has started a new faction. So MJF hasn't been in the Inner Circle all that long. Neither had Wardlow. So them leaving isn't the end of the world for the Inner Circle. They just go back to being what they were, the original Inner Circle. So Inner Circle's gone back to being what it was.
Gaming is a legend.
And now we've got
they donated $50 via a super chat. What's up?
Coaster Maniacs Gaming. Why have you sent through such a kind donation, bud? Out of the blue. I hope you are well. This is that your second channel? I know you've got two channels now, haven't you? I think one does wrestling, the other does gaming. So, dude, you should have put like a big comment in, kind of. I don't know. You've definitely got everyone's attention. Yeah, shout out to Coaster Maniacs Gaming, who I don't even know the games that you do over there. I feel like telling people about your channel because of such a kind donation. Jump in the chat, dude. Let people know what it is that you're doing over at Coaster Maniacs Gaming. Shout out to you, bud. Very, very kind donation. Coaster Maniacs obviously has been in our community for a long, long time, but yeah, very much out the blue. I hope you're well. Hope the family's doing well. LSW says, Days, I want to see artifacts from the collision in Korea. Yeah, I don't know what you can get from the collision in Korea. I don't know what they were able to get out. They were lucky themselves to get out by the sounds of it. But apparently that's going to be a Dark Side of the Ring episode, collision in Korea. I've said before, it was a video that when I first started the channel, it was a video I wanted to make, but I had no idea how to go about doing it because footage was a little bit limited. But I think the whole pay-per-view is available now online, maybe even YouTube, or it could be like Daily Motion or something. But yeah, this is basically like the biggest wrestling show ever. It happened in the mid-90s. WCW and New Japan teamed together, went to Korea, North Korea, and put on a 2-day event in is it Pyongyang Stadium? It's like
Host to Maniacs
150,000
Gaming is
each
a
day.
legend. They donated $10 via a super chat.
Crazy.
Lita interview possibly next week.
Oh, right. There we go. There we go. Yes, this big Coaster Maniacs Lita interview. Huge. I have no idea how you've managed to secure Lita for an interview. But I would say, like, make sure everything is on point and sharp. You want to make sure that your graphics for that is mint. You want to make sure that everything looks hyper professional. That is a massive opportunity to sit down with a legend like her. And so much you can talk about as well with like where women's wrestling is right now. And that is a big deal. So, well, there we go. Possibly next week, Coaster Maniacs. Is that going to be Coaster? Don't send a super chat. Is that on the gaming channel? Or I'm guessing that's going to be on your other channel. Won't be on the gaming channel, will it? I mean, it's up to you, but I'm just saying. I should imagine people will be interested in that. Mike, shout out to you. Robin813 says, Days, will we get Volta versus Ciampa at TakeOver Stand and Deliver? I certainly hope so. We were saying just before the show started, 4 nights. 2 nights of TakeOver. 2 nights of WrestleMania. Are you genuinely really telling me that we really can't find any room for Volta on those shows anywhere? For the NXT UK champ that's held that title for how long? We can't find a spot. I find that hard to believe. So if we are going to get Ciampa versus Volta for the NXT UK Championship, fantastic. Sign me up. Sign me up. Butterspark says the plane ride from hell is also going to be on the upcoming season. Coaster Maniacs Gaming said it will be on the main channel. It will be on the main channel. So there we go. Lita interview on Coaster Maniacs' channel very, very soon. I know Coaster Maniacs was saying that he was looking at the idea, don't know if it's still possible, of people asking direct questions. So that means that you can ask a question directly to Lita and hear her answer. So that's a pretty big deal. That's pretty sweet. So yeah, I'm genuinely quite looking forward to that. I've got a lot of respect for Lita. A lot of respect for Lita. I always feel sorry for her because she was obviously around at the same time as Trish, and they obviously helped make each other. But I think by and large, Trish gets more of the love. And I do think that Lita was, dare I say, I don't want to say overshadowed because she's great. It's a little bit like the Edge and Christian relationship. Do you know what I mean? Edge gets the love and you feel a little sorry for Christian. And it's kind of like with Trish and Lita. I feel like Trish gets all the love and you feel a little sorry for Lita. So, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be cool. Volta will have 2 years as champion in April 5th. Maybe he is going to be the same flight as Jordan. Days, one thing about AEW, the future star power. Look at MJF. Look at Ethan Page. Look at Lee Johnson. The future is all elite, says Jota da Silva. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's... I think it is building for the future. I think that it is in a decent place. I think that what it's looking for is someone to help take it to that next level. I think Sting was definitely a boost. But I think it's sort of settled back down to being about 750. I know the other week they were pushing 900,000. I mean, you do feel like they've still got a long way to go to kind of be consistently up in the 1.5 million kind of. That's where they would want to be. They would want to be consistently around 1.5, because then you're really knocking on Raw's door. I mean, I think Raw did 1.89, but sometimes it's been doing 1.7. So if AEW, who are well below 1 million, but just starting to get around that 900,000, if they could find a way of getting consistently to 1.5, I think that would be very, very interesting. I don't know when they're pulling the trigger, but I am adamant that there will be a big AEW show on a Monday night. I don't know when, but I'm adamant that they are looking at Raw. I think they look at Raw, and I think they're seeing a wounded animal, to be honest. I think that Raw has been a bit better in recent weeks, but the ratings still haven't really moved. But, I think AEW, they've dealt with NXT. They've beaten NXT in the ratings. NXT now is being forced to move. They're going to have a run on a Wednesday night, unopposed. I think they can really make some progress being unopposed. I mean, I say unopposed. I dare say that WWE is still going to be putting stuff onto the network. Just because they don't have the USA network doesn't mean they can't put stuff on the WWE network. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? You might get some tasty specials on a Wednesday night from WWE. You might see like superstar spectacles on a regular basis on the WWE network, just to try and give people something to watch other than AEW. So I'm not sure that WWE is just going to concede defeat on this Wednesday night battle, even if they are being made to move. So, but I do think it's going to help AEW, and it will help NXT as well. But yeah, as things grow and as they get that momentum, then I really think they're going to look at Monday night. You wouldn't go up against SmackDown. You wouldn't move to a Friday. Fox, it's too big, too powerful. SmackDown's getting 2.2 million consistently in the ratings. It's nearly 500,000 ahead of Raw. And you wouldn't go there. But Monday does feel like a wounded animal at the moment. So, yeah, interesting. You mean Peacock? Sort of. I mean the WWE Network, because it is still the WWE Network for everyone outside of America. And it is, is it still the network even in America? Is it the network just on Peacock? Although saying that, I have heard that there's a bit of bad news for our American friends. Yes, you are going to get more for your money now, but apparently the search isn't as good. And, like where when you click on a pay-per-view, you can go to a certain point in the pay-per-view. They've got, like, markers. So if you want to go straight to the start of this match, you just go to the start of that match. Apparently you can't do that on Peacock. So the search isn't as good. There's no markers. So there's a few things. So it's not the network as we know it, but it is still the network. So, yeah, I don't know what to call it. I mean, it will be on Peacock, but it is still the network. So, I think I'll probably just stick with the network, the WWE network. Scroll down. The Peacock will be carrying the Premier League soccer rights as well. That's huge. And I tell you do get a lot with this Peacock thing. I know there's going to have to be a little compromise, as we said, with the search not being as good and all of that. And apparently you're not going to get everything at first. So another thing I heard was that in America, you will get all the WrestleManias, and you'll get, I think, anything from the past 12 months, but a lot of the other shows won't be there for you. It's going to have to migrate over time. So it's not going to just be there. So, it's there's going to be a few frustrations. That's going to mean that our kind of retro watch-alongs are going to be impossible because you won't be able to watch them, because you won't have access to them, because they're going to have to drip feed them onto Peacock. It can't just move. So that kind of sucked as well. I think they said by SummerSlam, everything will be onto Peacock, but it won't be there at first. So you'll have Broken Skull sessions. Anything from the past 12 months will move straight away. All the latest stuff will move straight away, but all the older content is going to have to move over time. But no disruption for us here in the UK or whatever. But the flip side is you're getting loads more for your money. Getting loads more for your money. So, well, I wouldn't be too down about it. No more old NXTs. Well, not at first. But you'll get them eventually. I'm going to miss Total Divas, says TX Based. Yeah, you will miss Total Divas. Good job we're not doing the watch-alongs anymore. Although, I think we will do a watch-along on Sunday. I'm thinking of doing another WrestleMania. We did WrestleMania 28 the other Sunday. It was fun. It's nice to do. And I still want to keep chipping away at these WrestleManias. So I think there's a good chance we'll do Wrestling Escape Pod tomorrow. Then SmackDown on Friday. UFC on Saturday. Looks like a good one. And then on Sunday, I think we will do another WrestleMania watch-along as we're building towards WrestleMania, because obviously that week of WrestleMania, the build towards WrestleMania looks absolutely stacked. Absolutely stacked. So there won't be any chance to do WrestleManias that week. So if you want to get some done, it looks like we're going to have limited opportunities to get them through. So what about the network on your phone?
Wacky Niribi is a legend. They donated $1.99 via a super chat. What about network on your phone?
Well, it goes for America. The network gets shut down. The network goes. So it won't be on your phone. You'll have to have Peacock on your phone. And then you go to Peacock and then you get to WWE that way. So in America, the WWE network completely shuts down. Doesn't shut down anywhere else, right? Don't panic if you're in Europe or UK or Canada or Mexico or wherever. We're only talking in the United States, but it does shut down and moves over to Peacock. So yeah, it won't be on your phone if you're in America. Right, we could sit around and talk for ages, but I think we've said enough. Really good night of action. Really enjoyed both shows. Really thought that both shows delivered. Big shout out to Coaster Maniacs, of course, and his big Lita interview that's coming up. Make sure that you check that out. Papaseo just asked a question saying, Days, what are your thoughts on the Ultimate Edition figures? Are there any that you would personally want them to make? I heard Kane and Taker are the next after Cena and Rock. I like the Ultimate Editions. I think some of the best figures, recent figures, have been Ultimate Editions. Thought Finn Balor was excellent. I thought Ronda's looked cool. Warriors was incredible. The Fiend one looks awesome with his belt. So I genuinely think they are amongst the best figures that they've done. Is there any that I would want them to do? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's any that I'm desperate for. I kind of feel like they've boxed off a lot of the big names. I mean, I suppose they could do a great Seth Rollins, Ultimate Edition Seth Rollins. Legends-wise, we've had Triple H, Rock, Stone Cold, Hogan. Maybe it's time that we got another Hulkamania Hogan, because they're doing the Hollywood Hogan, haven't they? So maybe it's time. It's been a while since we had a Hulkamania. Like, it's been a while since that defining moments. Bruno. I mean, I have got a soft spot for Bruno, in all fairness. So he was the man back in the day. They would never do that though, because it would never sell. They have made a figure of Bruno, but they would never put the budget into. Plus, also, it'd be difficult to do a Bruno because he never really had any accessories. But you could introduce the belt that we've never had, the Bruno belt. We've never had the Bruno belt in Mattel figure form, so that would be cool. And you could have like swappable heads for Bruno as well. But he never really had entrance gear or anything like that, so that would make it tricky. So maybe Bruno isn't a great shout, but I would like a Bruno with the Bruno belt. But yeah, hard to know, hard to say. Maybe a Bianca Belair in the future. I'm just thinking. Do you remember when was it Belair that came down in like some amazing entrance attire, kind of very Macho Man-esque. I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm seeing Belair, and she's got like this big kind of robe, very Macho Man. A figure of that would be awesome. And maybe the only way they'd be able to do it is at a higher price point in like the Ultimate Edition line. I don't know. I feel that she's going to have a lot of figures over the coming years. She's very toyetic. So, yeah. There we go. Boom. Answered. Your question has been answered. Right. I'm off. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed tonight. Some big announcements made. Some really good action. Really good shows. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, we've got SmackDown coming up. UFC coming up. We'll do a WrestleMania watch-along on Sunday. Raw coming up as well. We're getting closer towards Fastlane. That's not this weekend. It's next weekend. We're getting closer towards WrestleMania. We got a 2-day takeover coming up. We're about 2 weeks away from UFC 260. Like they've dropped in a pay-per-view, a UFC pay-per-view, quite close to this one. So we're not far away from another UFC pay-per-view. In fact, I think this weekend is a bit of a quiet one. But then weekend after, we've got Fastlane. And then weekend after that, UFC 260. So, yeah, it's busy. It's busy. It's a busy time of the year. So, thanks a lot for joining. Really appreciate the support. Hope you had a great evening. Continue to have a great evening wherever you are. And hopefully, I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.